Before we really get started, what do you think of my new mug? This is actually a lot of different pieces from multiple different expansions kind of shoved together here, which is kind of my norm, I suppose. My cloak is from Dragonflight. Boots are from BC. This is from Kata. These are from Vanilla. Belt is from War Within. I'm not sure where the gloves are from. The weapon's from Pandaria. I'm ready to go. Oh, I think it works. But before we do any of that, I forgot to do something, and so I apologize. So before we get back... Oh my god. Before we get back to Silverpine... I know, Blade 12, shocking. Yeah, it's kind of like a safari, low-tier, out hunting in the wilds kind of thing. Okay, and I did promise Kira White Noise I'd talk about my UI. I am extremely proud of this title, and I will never not be. I wish other people could get it now. But I got it well you could, which I can prove, because I have it at all. Let's do this. No, that's right. So, my UI... Z-Pearl is the majority of what I use to replace my player frames, but I also use Bartender. So I've got Bartender and Z-Pearl, Z-P-E-R-L. Now, a lot of people, what they'll do, this is kind of talking in general, I know Kira White already knows this, but what a lot of people will do is they'll go ahead and they'll grab an interface add-on, right? LVUI is probably the most well-known one, but there's several. And they'll just be like, boop, and they'll either load a prefab, or they'll mess with that until it's what they like to be. I'm crazy. I don't do that. Instead, what I do is I pull several different add-ons that all do different aspects of the UI. And they all do their own kind of different things. So let's talk about my buff bars first, which is Elcano's buff bars. I can spell it if I need to. That's in my upper right, up there. Obviously, the countdown... let's see if we're going to die. Hang on. I love the bars. I love the visual gradient of it. Red is obviously... oh, nope, we're fine. Red is obviously debuffs, and then it'll actually change color. That'll be green, and then purple, and all kinds of stuff like that. But there's your section up there, in fact. I'm not sure actually what the button is, so forgive me. Let's go ahead and do this. So there you go. Buffs, debuffs, and... miscellaneous is what that is, like weapon buffs, for example. You can move these individually or whatever. I like to have them all nice up there in the upper right, so I can see at a glance what my buffs are and how they work. You can also change which buffs show, which I don't mess with because I just like to have full visibility. Oh, hey, look! That statue's gone. Huh. Anyways, so that's Elcano's. Boop. My radar, this is called Sexy something? Yeah. It is actually called Sexy Map. Now, what's really funny about Sexy Map is it's designed to be some super amazing, mega, ultra fancy thing, but I find just replacing it with the straight up square is by far the best overall option. It shows me exactly what I need to see it, when I need to see it, and how I need to see it. And that's what I want out of a mini-map. It also is quick and easy to zoom in out of, and it gives me a little bit more visibility than the circle. Cool. Hi, Zach Taft. chat defaulting to the lower right, that's just a preference thing because I like my buttons to be on the lower left. That's bartender. So let's go ahead and scooch up here really quick so I can show off. Hang on 1 second. There we go. This should be over here. There we go. Bartender. So, I don't know, actually. You're right, to be quite honest with you. This is bartender. This is obvious. This is where all your bars go. I really like how bartender cleans things up. Bartender actually has a huge number of options, just like most of these do. But once again, I prefer it for its simplicity. I like to just have my buttons over here. The majority of my actual abilities I put on these 2 bars. Up here I put click abilities, but I use semi-frequently. Up here I put like utility stuff. That's why the mounts are up there. And over here I put things like hearths and stuff I don't click very often at all. This is all just the fun stuff. There's a lot of ways to configure bartender. It's a very, very malleable tool. I shouldn't have to explain what details is. I just like to leave that up because it's nice to have right there and visible. That just leaves the default, which mostly the only default you're really seeing is the chat bar, I think. Yeah, all you're really seeing is the chat bar for default. So that's whatever. And Z-Pearl. So let me show off Z-Pearl. So this is Z-Pearl. You've probably seen me configure this every single time. I keep a template right there. It's the one template, which I just go, boop, to quickly and immediately load whatever I need and however I need it. I like to have everything in the upper left for this. I don't really have a good reason for that. That's just automatic for me. Party, and then me right next to the party, so we're all functionally one group. My target is right here, right next to my HUD. My target of target is over here, so I can see what they're targeting. And yeah, that's actually kind of it. Once again, Z-Pearl has a tremendous amount of options. There are a couple of things I like about Z-Pearl over most other options. The range indicator being really good is one of them. And once again, the fact that it looks simple, but not boring. Like if you're paying attention, there's a little bit of a gradient in the panel there. And of course, it shows my actual portrait, which I tend to prefer. It's also a very, very, very good indicator of several things. For example, I can tell instantly if someone is layered from me because of how Z-Pearl renders. Whereas in the default UI, that's not even an option. Stuff like that. I think that's everything. Oh, I suppose aside from ARC HUD, A-R-C HUD, that's right in the middle. You've seen that a bunch. You can kind of see it right there, my health bar on the left. That's also pretty well customized. My health bar is on the inside, enemy health bar is on the outside, and that's red. Resources are on the right, cast bar is on the right, special things are on the right. I also use quartz, I think. Pretty sure I do. Yep, nope, I do. Sorry, I tend to forget I even use quartz because it's so default. Quartz is easy to explain. That right there you're seeing, that cast bar, that's quartz. It also you can also change enemy cast bars and keeping track of hots and dots. Yeah, quartz is cast bar and stuff like that. It's good stuff, but I tend to forget it's there because I've been using it since it came out, basically. I think that's everything. Let's see if I can remember where this is. So... Huh, there's this old key ring here. How strange. I do use Plater as well. God, I keep forgetting about add-ons I use. So Plater is what you see over the enemy health bar there. Plater has quite a few things. It shows their buffs, their major debuffs, their cast time, and of course their aggro. I have this customized, so green means they're aggro to me, because I am almost always tanking, and so in my mind, green is good. It means I have aggro. Red is just hostile, right? And of course, orange or yellow is like, hang on, you're losing aggro, or gaining aggro, as the case may be. I think that's everything? I might as well just look. What am I missing here? Obviously, I'm using DBM. I don't need to explain that. All the things, I'm using that. Don't need to explain that. I have bag sync. I highly recommend that. You're probably thinking, why? Bag sync is what lets me look at this and see that, oh, I have 3,888 of those on my account. It keeps track of currency and items across account. That's the only thing I use it for. It is one of the most lightweight and useful add-ons for exactly that purpose that I've ever found. So, like, how many of these do I have? I have 52 weighted jack-o'-lanterns on my account. Stuff like that. Anyways. Cursor Trail. You know exactly what that is. It's, data stores a main thing. Decursive is its own thing. Details is obvious. Dragon Rider is my bark thing. Handy Notes is duh. That's a map thing. Mob kill count isn't even working. You just uninstall that. Mapster is a very lightweight map replacer. I barely do anything with it, but it is there. Need to know something that's been broken for a while. That needs some setup, so I haven't been using that for a while. Instance Tracker I use nowadays. That's actually been pretty helpful. Paste is obvious. OmniCC is unnecessary at this point. Sexy map I already talked about. TomTom is just how to put waypoints in the game. And World Quest Tracker makes World Quests actually worth a damn. World Quest Tracker is how I could be like, hey, let's go to here. And there's my World Quests. It makes it so there's an icon there. I can see exactly what it gives. I can track up here, you know, what exactly they give. And it makes World Quest tracking a bit easier. That's really what it boils down to. That is actually everything. Now, Mr. Rick gave me a gift a few months ago. You see, they decided to add something back in. I believe, don't ask her, I believe they actually added this a couple of years ago in the Halloween event. It's the Scarlet Key. Yeah, no, it's right there. It requires Hallow's End. That was right. Apparently it was added in patch 10.1.7, so this is pretty recent. It allows you to do this. Though dirt and rust have accumulated on these keys, the one you currently possess looks no different otherwise. As you return the key to its rightful place, it may prove difficult to ignore the passing curiosity of what it may unlock. Given the evident abandonment of those already present, surely no one would be wiser if you chose to borrow it in the future. Okay, that's unusual. Oh, well, I'll just move forward. Blissfully unaware. Oh, hey, like, the door's open now. Welcome to Old Scarlet Monastery. Be real, how many of you even knew this is in the game? This is kind of fascinating. During the Hallow's End event, you basically get an unlock that allows you to go to do Old Scarlet Monastery. I only found out about this pretty recently myself, this year. As you can see, it seems similar, but if you're paying any attention, it's definitely a bit jigsawed from the Scarlet Halls we just did. Whoop, hang on. Everyone die. Everyone die. Thank you. Sorry. Sorry. Now, I'm not going to review this place. There's nothing really to review here. This is just kind of a bonus gimmick thing. But I actually think it's kind of funny and interesting that they decided to go ahead and re-add this back into the game. Having said that, what would be really cool... Oh, hey, Herod.
Ah, I've been waiting for a real challenge.
Wow. I didn't have that transmog. I'm shocked. You guys, okay. Anyways. Scarlets, I swear. They could make this better, and I think it would be cool if they did. Like, imagine for a moment if they decided... Is that it? Are we done in here? I think that's it, isn't it? Oh, God. Imagine if they made it so that other, you know, older versions of dungeons had a version that you could go enter and re-examine and re-participate in. That would be kind of cool, I think. And Lord knows their current behavior seems to be much more leaning towards, yeah, we remember that older content actually exists. So who knows? It is possible. This is kind of hidden behind a few puzzles and a few little gimmicky things, but you never know. Because there's a decent number of dungeons that have been fundamentally changed over the years. Ragefire Chasm, Shadowfang Keep, which we're doing later today. Blackfellow Depths. We just did that the other day. Sunken Temple is pretty different. Dolomance is completely different. Like, Sholomance is fundamentally different. Building Caverns is completely the same. I'm losing track. Oldemon, I guess, would be another one. So hey, bit of a different path there. Hey, look, it's Commander Mograine. What's up?
Infidels. They must be purified.
You shall pay for this treachery.
I feel like that pissed a few people off.
Arise, my champion.
At your side, milady.
Sure thing, Metzen. God, I can't even loot. There's just too much to calculate. 2 more cosmetics I didn't have, including the chapeau. I actually wore that chapeau on my paladin for a huge portion of her raiding career. Like, up until we had BWL and Farm. And we were already drifting into... No, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. She never got a new helmet. It was her shoulder she replaced. Either way, I just wanted to show that off really quick, that this is a thing. And anybody who wasn't aware, I just wanted to showcase that it is, in fact, a thing. A literal key to the past. But we're more interested in the present, which at this point is more like 10 years in the past, but whatever. Hello, Jay Palmer. You are Jay Palmer. Ignore all this. Ignore it. Ignore it. No, no, no. None of this is here. None of this is here. We're not here yet. We're not here yet. We're not here yet. Okay. Also a bit of a teaser about the characters we'll be playing across Eastern Kingdoms. It's those 3 right there. Let's switch back to Swift Shot, shall we? I hear the military is recruiting down in Silverpine. Yeah, what you farming, Izmir Star? Now, before you answer, I'm going to say Nighthold. Spartan's farming Zulamon. Poor Spartan. Aberys. Oh, Aberys Mythic. Good luck. Alright, I should kind of do this on foot. If you go on foot, sorry. Let's talk Silverpine. So this wall is new. And you notice that the Dread Guard, that's the Forsaken military, have a lot bigger presence here. We've got alchemy things, we've got tents, we've got chains, we've got buildings. There's a lot more going on here than there used to be. There's also a taxi going up and down the main street, the highway. You can actually hop on, by the way. Literally. Just, oh hang on. Wait for me. There we go. And you can just hop on and hop off at will as it goes up and down. All of this is new as of Cataclysm, yes. Aw, that sucks, Spartan. I'm sorry. This isn't much, but, you know, obviously nowadays we have flying, but this was a nice thing back when you didn't have a mount at all by the time you hit Silverpine. Because you probably hit Silverpine at about level 10, 11, or 12. And like I said, you can just hop off whenever. So, there's Sylvanas.
What now?
Most excellent. A new recruit has arrived. There's much to do, I say.
Beware the living.
You're just in time, Swift Shot Noob. It is Swift Shot Noob, right? Yeah, that's what the paperwork says. By the way, this became such a meme for me and my friends that we immediately went and re-rolled several characters to take advantage of this. So, for example, my friend Gary rolled Noob, so his name was Noob Noob. My other friend rolled Nubbly, so it was Nubbly Noob. And then I rolled Nubbly Nubbly. In fact, I think I still have Nubbly Nubbly, so I was Nubbly Nubbly Noob. Yeah. Where was I? Oh yes, you're just in time. The war chief should be arriving any moment to meet with our leader and savior, the Dark Lady herself. Just stand by and be in your best behavior. I expect when this demonstration is over, we'll all receive commendations.
Where is that ogre-headed buffoon? Ah, speak of the devil.
This better be important, Sylvanas. You know how I detest this place and its foul stench. Why have you called for me? And more importantly, what are those scourge fiends doing here?
War Chief, so glad you could make it. With the death of the Lich King, many of the more intelligent Scourge became unemployed. Those fiends, as you so delicately put it, are called Valkyr. They are under my command now. And they are part of the reason that I asked to see you.
Get on with it, Sylvanas.
Very well, War Chief. I have solved the plight of the Forsaken. As a race, we Forsaken are unable to procreate. With the aid of the Valkyr, we are now able to take the corpses of the fallen and create new Forsaken. Agatha, show the War Chief.
You have done here, Sylvanas. It goes against the laws of nature. Disgusting is the only word I have to describe it.
War Chief, without these new Forsaken, my people would die out. Our hold upon Gilneas and Northern Lordaeron would crumble.
Have you given any thought to what this means, Sylvanas? What difference is there between you and the Lich King now?
Isn't it obvious, War Chief? I serve the Horde.
Watch your clever mouth!
Bitch.
Chromosh, you stay behind and make sure the Banshee Queen is well guarded. I will be expecting a full report when next we meet. Remember, Sylvanas, Eventually, we all have to stand before our Maker and face judgment. Your day may come sooner than others.
Yeah, like, doing the Noxoramus music for this is probably not the right call. Neat little cutscene, but I want to comment on a few things. First, and arguably foremost, almost every Valkyr we encounter is named. That's because there's a specific number of them. In fact, I believe it is 7. You'll notice both of those Valkyr up there were ones we saw who were rezzing us back when we were at the starter zone. Second of all, I want you to picture what we went through when we were rezzed. Now, obviously, for the sake of the cutscene, these all went away, but imagine being one of these people. Just being like, I'm dead. And you're raised up here. You see this sight around you. And there's like this orc who's yelling at this woman on a horse, and there's soldiers all around you, and you're confused and lost and terrified, and all the things that happen when you're raised from the dead. What do you think is going through your head at that exact point in time? I would have really liked it. In a modern cutscene, they probably would have done this, because they like to do background events in modern cutscenes. I would have loved it if while, Sylvanas and Garrosh were bandying words, everyone back here just had, like, a random result. Like, someone like, oh my god! And one of them just, like, runs screaming and then they get shot by someone. One of them just goes, all kinds of little reactions. But this is still Kata, and Kata was when they were starting to figure out in-game cutscenes. Anyways. The other thing I want to point out. Garrosh amuses me here, because he's like, oh, dare you. Anyways, keep doing what you're doing, as long as you're serving my interests. Like, I don't even know what else to add to that. For every bit of complaint that Garrosh levels at Sylvanas, he doesn't actually seem to give a crap. And that's very Garrosh, isn't it? Unless you're directly in his way or doing something that he considers completely unacceptable, which, remember, is demons. That's the one big thing you're not supposed to do. Then, okay, sure. Like, I guarantee you, if Sylvanas had summoned demons right here, saying, behold, I have solved our infantry problem, and she summoned some demons, Garrosh would have attacked on the spot, right? As is, he's just like, wow, you're really gross. I'm gonna go home. Bye. Food for thought. Anyways, him.
I'm listening.
Well, that was unexpected. I'm not one to doubt our war chief. Never mind. We have work to do. I'm sure the Dark Lady and the war chief will get this all worked out.
Dark Lady, watch over you.
The battle over the region still rages, Swiftshot noob. Though we soundly beat back the Gilnean defenses and took Gilneas for the Horde, we already saw that from the other side, a small group of rebels managed to escape, the Gilneas Liberation Front, as they call themselves, and they make attacks of opportunity against our forces in the field. The rebels have a few minor victories and are now grown brazen. Time to strike back is now.
Goodbye.
Now that's a fascinating question. Thrall would be more upset by what Sylvanas is doing, and yet simultaneously more tolerant and accepting of it. You know what I mean? Like, because on the one hand, Sylvanas actually has a point, as bizarre as that sounds. But part of the problem is her point is being completely buried in how she's doing it. Like, there's no choice involved. Despite all their ostensible discussions of free will, they don't give people a choice in being rezzed. It's, once you've rezzed, you are allowed to make a choice. Food for thought. Anyways, all I'm saying is that we should all just accept the undead plague. I think it's just... sorry.
Magraw.
All able-bodied members of the Horde. Oh, that...
Strength.
Go-to quest we won't be doing for possibly even today. We'll see. Yeah, should the Forsaken go extinct? That's... I have trouble agreeing with the idea of telling an entire body of people, many of whom are innocents, hey, go commit mass suicide. Oh yeah, one last thing. I knew there was something else I wanted to talk about really quick. If you're paying attention, and I already mentioned this, the Valkyr can raise just about anybody into, sentient undead, type 3 undead. And they did it en masse right here. And they'll keep doing that as we go forward. That does absolutely cost them some energy and some resources and some power. You're probably wondering, well, hang on. You've referred to a hypothetical perfect undead. No rot, no drain, truly ageless. It's effectively all of the benefits and none of the detriments. Can the Valkyr do that? Yes. But it takes them quite a bit. There's actually a short story where they do this to Nathanos, which is why he gets his new body. And each of those, any of those individual attempts, it's costly. It takes multiple Valkyr doing a ritual, which involves a lot of prep time and additional magic, and it involves sacrifice. You have to actually consume another life in order to then make the new thing. So they can make type 4 undead. It is possible, but it's not the kind of thing they can or do all that often. In fact, to my knowledge, they've only done it the one time to Nathanos. If you're wondering, yeah, the second Lich King could just do that. Anyways. Could the third Lich King do that? Based on evidence, I'm going to go with no. There's nothing that seems to indicate that the third Lich King is particularly skilled at that. Having said that, there's an asterisk there. So you remember how I talked... God, gee, bummer. So you remember how I talked about... No, of course you don't, because you don't listen to me. How the third Lich King doesn't do any of the things he could do to slowly get rid of the Scourge. And thus, it's possible and indeed likely that because he's such a brute force warrior type, he can't actually do any of that stuff. Now, I was going to bring that up, Ganas, because that's the counter evidence, right? Is the fact that he does create type 4 times with the 4 horsemen. I'm not sure if that's indicative or not. There's actually another asterisk on top of that. The other asterisk I hesitate to consider evidence because it's really kind of hand-wavy and it's in Shadowlands. And I'm always hesitant to think of anything in Shadowlands as canon. Not just because Shadowlands sucks, but because... Well, let me explain something to you. It is canon in Star Trek that if you... know exactly what kind of movements and incantations to do, you can cast magic. Literal, actual magic, right? It is canon in Star Trek that if you decide to go around a sun particularly quickly, you can time travel. It is canon in Star Trek that there was an amoeba the size of a solar system which was carving a swath of destruction. Oh, it was also made of antimatter across the galaxy. All of those things are canon. How much do you think I tend to consider that stuff when it comes to debating the lore of Star Trek? So, yeah, exactly. 0% of the time. Because it's nonsense, right? Not everything that is on camera is considered to be something that actually happened, as bizarre as that sounds. For me, what actually defines as canon tends to depend on two major factors. One, how often does it come back up? Is it something that is a repeating element or is referenced or whatever? And two, how much sense does it make within the confines of the setting itself? The nebula thing, which is effectively nonsense, is something that is constantly referenced in Star Trek. So the nebula thing is canon. Cool, I have no problem with considering that when it comes to debating the lore of Star Trek. But if you want me to consider Spock's super hypnosis as canon, then you're screwed, because I'm not going to. Make sense? So, getting back to WoW. as we've already covered cutscenes as of this moment in time that are arguably not canon within the confines of Warcraft, and several which would have already been retconned. Yes, Spock's brother isn't canon. Kinda, yeah. Named to be one other iteration of Cybok actually mattering. Don't mention New Trek. Although, ironically, that's another instance of that. I could bring that up, but let's not get into that. So, in Shadowlands, there was a plot arc, very, very background minor plot arc, that the third Lich King was constantly raising up Type 4 undead all over the place, like in the hundreds. Just every time, I'm not even joking, every time someone died, every time some other adventurer or PC or military personnel or whatever died, he would be like, and just yank them up and drag them up and make them part of his Death Knight, make them part of the Ebon Blade. The canon reason for that is because he was building up the forces of the Ebon Blade for the inevitable war with the Jailer, because the Jailer's he's his dick. His dick is so big, okay? And the only way we can defeat a dick that big is by having tons and tons and tons of Ebon Blade. So, canonically, the third Lich King, magically and out of nowhere, suddenly has the ability to make perfect undead instantly, effortlessly, and from a distance, constantly. Sure. By the way, it is also canon that the huge plot point about how the Scourge will rampage out of check if left untouched by the Lich King is thrown away so effortlessly that it's literally not in the game anymore except for one line of reference in some random quest. I don't remember which quest it is. So, that's how much I treat Shadowlands as relevant when it comes to storytelling and debate and theory crafting and all that. Having said all of that, there is the exception there. The exception is the Four Horsemen. I don't mind thinking about the idea that the third Lich King could pull forth, crafting Type 4 undead 4 times. Ever. That doesn't bother me too much. So I'll consider that as cool. It's also entirely possible he's been practicing, ever since, right? Trying to master that. Now, unfortunately, I have to leave you. So I'm going to pull out my mod here. Mr. Red, what do you think of my transmog? I'll be right back. Apologies. I'm still recovering. Okay. Let's start these quests so I can tell Lord Harriman how much he isn't listening to me.
What would you ask of death?
If we're to get this new blight up and running, we'll need clean beast guts. Problem is, clean beast guts are a rare commodity in Silverpine. Most of the beasts here have succumbed to disease and only have diseased organs. Do a sweep. Look for wargs and grizzled bears. Fill only the non-diseased variety.
Embrace the
Bring me enough guts you can jam into your backpack, Jesus.
I am forsaken.
You have no doubt heard about the incident that transpired at the Wrathgate, yes? Due to those unfortunate events, we are strictly forbidden from using the strain of life-shattering blight we finally perfected. Now we have rules and regulations. Another nonsense. Ugh, red tape. They've given us some neutered version of the perfected blight and expect us to weaponize it. I'm gonna need Doomweed.
Trust no one.
I've actually heard that, Ross. My brother-in-law swears by his air fryer. Of course, now Lord Harriman's gone. I missed my chance. No! Bats! Bats! So I can prove you're not listening to me because you said, what about the Death Knight allied races? That, I just referenced that. The hundreds and hundreds of people he was raising up. That's one of the reasons why they get a slightly different starter experience. I would like to say we're over halfway through, Ross, but it'd probably be more accurate to say we are under halfway through, to be completely honest. The other problem here, because I just thought about this while I was having fun, is if the third Lich King can raise Type 4 Undead, which I remind you is not an easy thing to do, then why can't he have control of the Scourge? Like, you pretty much cannot have these two things side by side. Either he has control of the Scourge, in which case he should get rid of the Scourge. Like, as someone mentioned earlier today, just order them all to march into a pit, right? March into some lava and be done with it. Plenty of lava in Northrend, he can manage that. But the argument we all came up with and generally agreed on, and that follows logic, is a combination of he doesn't really know how to have that level of control, and he probably doesn't want to risk extending that level of control, right? Yeah, exactly, especially after Deathwing. So it does make a degree of sense that he just wouldn't even bother, because he either can't or he won't, right? Logic. But then you have the, again, hundreds of new recruits, including the allied races, and of course the Four Horsemen, and so that's just kind of a, huh? Once again, this is why Shadowlands should just be ejected from the consideration, because one of the major problems of Shadowlands is that the Scourge are just kind of wiped off the map very cleanly. Let's just pretend they're not there, pretend they're not there. They're gone. Okay, we're done. Like, I don't even know how to put it. Surely you could think of some fictional setting or another where there's been this big dangling plot thread for several years, and then they just kind of tied up in the most unsatisfactorily way possible, right? No, the Scourge... Okay. Let's actually give you a thorough answer to that question, Lord Harriman. I'm not really joking when I say that, canonically, in Shadowlands, the Scourge were destroyed during the launch event. It was really dumb. Like, it's like, oh my god, the Scourge are invading, and that's it, we're done. That was a joke. It made no sense on any level. It was a very underwhelming, cheap rehash of the Wrath launch event. In fact, in some cases, they literally used the same mechanics and same models and textures and all kinds of stuff. So that sucked. That was awful. And that was the big follow-through of the eternal threat of the Scourge, which, if you remember, was a gigantic plot point for a huge portion of Wrath, that there must always be a Lich King. Otherwise, the Scourge will rampage unchecked. So the Scourge rampaged unchecked, and we just kind of bodied them effortlessly in the background in an event that most people didn't even participate in. What? That's problem number one. Problem number two is that they really, really wanted to have someone who understood the afterlife, someone who would be our guide, the Obi-Wan, for lack of a better way to put that, to the Shadowlands arc. They decided to make that Bolvar. That doesn't make a lot of sense either, the more you think about it. Like, he was just suddenly and miraculously an expert on pretty much everything with regards to the afterlife. And he was our primary quest giver for the entirety of Shadowlands. He also apparently knew everything to do with the jailer, well in advance, of course. I agree with that, Lord Hermon. Even though he never even mentioned the jailer or talked about him to anyone or anything, and you know, no, it doesn't matter. No, there's the jailer. I've always known the jailer was there. And one day, the jailer would cause these issues. I knew. I always knew. Why didn't you do anything? I knew. You don't understand. Like, I'm breaking down in my argument because the problem is Shadowlands ruins everything that it touches. I'm not actually joking. It is so ill thought out, and it shows so obviously. For those of you you're probably wondering, how is that even possible? Like, after all of the crap WoW been through, how is it even remotely possible to have something that broken in that era of WoW? And the answer is very simple. Shadowlands is being written by people who were in the middle of being fired for allegations of sexual abuse. I could keep going, but that really does explain everything, to be quite frank. So they never really... It's possible that team had some idea of where they were going with things. That is within the realm of feasibility. If they did, we'll never know, because they got their asses canned, as they indeed should. And of course, because of how development cycles work, they were way, way, way too far into production to reverse course. If you've ever wondered why exactly it is that Shadowlands only really has one major content patch, that's why. If you're paying attention as well, you'll notice the story arc of Shadowlands starts off by being like, alright, this is a story about puppies. We're going to lead into the puppies, and it's going to be all about puppies. Okay, puppies. Alright, first patch. Alright, kittens. It's all about kittens. We're definitely all about the kittens. And it always has been about the kittens. There was never any puppies. They're over in the corner. No. Kittens. Okay, that's the end of the arc. Let's go. In canon, is the player Forsaken doing these willingly? To my knowledge, yeah. If you pay attention, the Forsaken player character actually has a fairly solid arc, which we will be going through on this character. It's, Tears Fall, duh, we've already spoken about that. Silverpine, which is us being formally inducted into the military, and all that will happen here. Hillsbrad, where we actually start going up the ranks of the military, leading into the Western Plaguelands, which is probably the exact moment we left the Forsaken forces and no longer were part of the Forsaken. There's a couple of other Forsaken-y quests, but that's the primary arc right there. Boom, 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 boom.
This had better be good.
Swiftshot Noob has returned, and in one piece. Defender of Silverpine, Redeemer of the Horde. Your bravery must be rewarded. Thanks.
Victory for Sylvanas.
Yeah, exactly. The events of Anderhall probably cracked the Forsaken player's loyalty to the Forsaken. Or at the very least, to Sylvanas.
Yes.
Or they simp for her because she's got boobs. Alright, excellent. With these guts and ferocious doomweed, we'll be able to test our new strain of blight. Now for a suitable target.
What now? Remember.
Agony abounds. The land itself threatens to devour us, yet we persist. I wonder why that is. With this doomweed and the guts and gore that Tveen needs, we might have something suitable to send to the front.
Beware the living.
Actually, yeah, absolutely, Esmeralda.
What now?
Funny how the two war arcs have that same disillusionment moment right before the end. The concoction's finally ready, but before I can put my seal of approval, we'll need to run a field test. You'll use this on the Murlocs. Yes. Yes! Sorry. Because, yeah, there's several war arcs throughout the,
Beware.
throughout the New World zones, the Cataclysm zones. But the only ones that really, really are truly cross-zone arcs are the ones we've already did, which is the South Barrens Quagmire, and the Battle for Anderhall, which is the one we're in the middle of. Yes and no, respectively, Lord Harrimont. I should know, I've done these on a Blood Elf. I actually rather like questing in Silverpine nowadays. It's one of my more favorite post-Cata zones. I look forward to proving myself wrong during the course of this very review. Oop, that's weird. Just gonna play Paperboy here for a second. And we're done. Do I want Mongoose Bite or Quick Shot? I want Mongoose Bite. Let's move towards that. One of those downsides of this being an MMO is they have to do the FF14 thing, right? They have to accommodate for all kinds of races and all kinds of classes, and frankly, that limits storytelling potential. It's one of the reasons we are barely a character in the game, just like in FF14. So, there are clearly intended story arcs for different characters. Like, again, Orc and Troll is a pretty obvious one. Night Elf is a pretty obvious one. Forsaken is a pretty obvious one. Dwarf or Gnome is a pretty obvious one. And Human is a pretty obvious one. But none of those actually do that. It's just, the arc is there if you feel like following through on it. You know what I mean?
Yes?
Potent enough to exterminate 1,000 Murlocs. I think I'll put that on the label. Well done. Have a reward.
Beware the living.
Sure. Hey look, it's Commander Belmont.
I'm listening.
Do you know why Mortus appends noob to your name? Because he's an incompetent sycophant that has trouble seeing through his oversized helmet. Noob is your classification. The new Undercity Battalion. Battalion. But enough with the comedy. I sent Deathstalker Yorick on a shadow operation. Her goal? To find Evo Iliani and liberate her. 3 days and no word from her. Okay, we've got to find Evo. Where is she? Where is she? We will find her. Aha! We found her! She was in the toilet the entire time. Hang on, I gotta do my best Evo voice. Belmont gets a little nervous and sends some newbie to look for me. Listen, I've been staking out the old Evar College from inside this outhouse for 3 days. My name's Evo Iliani, and I sound exactly like this. Your presence... Can't even do it. Your presence threatens the whole damn operation. No time to explain. We have to act now, or this mission will be compromised. The Gildea's Liberation Front leader, Darius Crowley, remember him? Has been meeting with another Worgen inside this cottage for the past 3 days. I'm not sure what's going on, but we need to get inside the cottage and get a good hiding place where we can eavesdrop. Now or never. We may never get our shot. Promise me if I don't make it, you'll return and inform Belmont of what we discover. We haven't got much time. That's why we're walking. Yeah, will his voice be better? We'll find out soon. Speaking of which, Evo, we're doing a dungeon at the end of Silverpine. Hint, hint, hint. Hint, hint. Also, we're dragging Valerian. They have no choice at this point. Valerian's just coming with. That's the option. There. Hide in the armoire. Have you given any more thought to my proposal, Ivar? Why trust you now, Crowley? You abandoned us, left us to die. If we're to win this war, we'll need your help. Our packs must unite. The Forsaken will destroy us otherwise. You are the alpha male, Alvar. The rest of the ferals in Silverpine will do as you command. I don't care about your war, Crowley. But I've seen firsthand what the Forsaken are capable of doing. They hunt us, slaughtering the defenseless. We do not... So will you help? Aye, I will gather my pack, and we... It appears we're being watched, Crowley. You have grown soft. Likely Greymane's fault. Treacherous little pup. What say you now, spy? Hi, Mr. Red. I live and die for the Banshee Queen. I was hoping you'd say that. I'll prepare the pack. It'll take some time to gather them all, but we'll join. For now. They killed Evo! They killed Evo! No! Yeah, that's why I was trying really hard to finish that before you got there. Some of these more extensive cutscenes don't share super well in Kata. So I'm going to get far away from you so I don't screw you up anymore. I'll kill all of these dogs! More or less literally. Oh yeah, by the way, the actual joke there is that the mob that just died is named Yorick. I knew her, Horatio. A woman of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy.
Hello.
Alas, poor Yorick. I knew her, swift shot. I just made this joke! Now, tell me what's going on. What did you and Yorick discover?
Dark Lady, watch your...
Deliver this report to Lady Sylvanas. It's my assessment of the situation in Silverpine. If we do not stamp out the Worgen, they will overrun us. The time to act is now.
Victory.
No, you've got some time. You've got some time, Valerian. Go, my minion. Clean thyself.
What joy is there in this curse?
Kneel before your queen. No, I'm good. Crowley, a gnat, an insect waiting to be crushed beneath my boot heel. So thinks he can rouse the feral Worgen of Silverpine. We shall show him and his allies the might of the Forsaken. But first we must clean up the mess made by the Warchief's fleet. Without their aid, we may lose this war.
We are the Forsaken.
Our reinforcements from Kalimdor arrived last night. 3 Orc gunships full of supplies, weapons, and soldiers. 3 Orc gunships lost to Bloodfang's damned Worgen. How can an entire Orc fleet lose to a small band of enemy combatants that lack any siege weaponry? An important question that you will answer for me. Oh yeah, I do kind of like the idea here. This is something they mention in Sylvanas' short story. I think you're right, Mira. So, remember, prior to this, the Forsaken were all the way at the southern end of Silverpine, completely in control of the zone, and actually managed to take Gilneas. Now, as of, the events we're doing right now, they've mostly been pushed back to the northern end of Silverpine. They were not ready to occupy this territory at all, which makes sense. The Forsaken are not really good occupiers, and frankly, occupying is harder than conquering to begin with, so that there's a logic there. Let's go ahead and start moving towards Misdirect, shall we? Yeah. Trank Shot, which we'll probably never use. Scare Cord. The fiasco may go down as one of the biggest embarrassments in the history of naval warfare. How did this happen? Drunk happened, that's how.
May your blades never dull.
We may never live down the shame of this defeat. The war chief will likely have us all executed. I'll be damned if I don't go down without a fight. Although the whole beachhead is overrun by Bloodfang, there still might be hope. I want you to accompany one of our sea pups directly west of here, and then recover our supplies. Return to me when the pup can carry no more.
Go with honor.
What do you need?
It's the goblin's fault. We set out for Silverpine from Bilgewater. Huge mistake that was. Never has such a den of iniquity or sin existed in our great empire. You have an empire? Those damnable goblins fueled our every vice and set off to sail with barrels full of ale. The shame of it all leaves a greater mark than any scar. Honor must be restored.
Be safe.
I knew this.
Speak quickly.
Have you seen the huge lumbering Ettins roaming the forest? Cursed things came from Gilneas. Now they wander the land searching for the next juicy meal. We've managed to subjugate and utilize some of them to haul our wagons, but the others, they've got to be killed. Unfortunately, we can't spare any soldiers. That's where you come in.
Trust no one.
I trust no one. Evo, is that a dagger in your hand? Or are you trying to kill me with something else? Listen. Listen, Asmira Star. My loyalty is to the Republic, to democracy! Oof. Maybe throw a little softer, Captain? No, I'm good. Again, I continue to be amused by how much sense it makes that the Forsaken were the first ones to embrace representative government. Empathy. Shared torment. And of course, they know exactly what it's like to be slaved to a cult of personality. Oh wow, that actually just... So we're the first galactic horde. I suddenly have this great idea for a sci-fi Elseworlds based on Warcraft. We'll call it Starcraft. It'll be like orcs in space. Except more sophisticated. Actually, I'm not really joking. I mean, obviously I'm making fun of the StarCraft thing. Because for those who don't remember, when StarCraft was very first teased to the public, everyone just said, oh, it's just StarCraft, it's orcs in space, and that's it. And I was like, okay. But I think you could do something with the aesthetic of it. I really do. Oh, Kira White Noise, I never finished following through on that. Did I answer your question to your satisfaction? I think they just wanted to pull a different vibe for it, Yura. If you remember, Silverpine in vanilla was very much just like the wilds, right? It was the outermost edges of Plague's territory. The Forsaken barely even had a presence there. Here, this was part of the Forsaken territories. and now they're trying to take it back from the Worgen who are actively fighting them across it. This is part of the war front. Now, that is speculative on my part. I'm not 100% sure if that's actually true. Me no sign up for this. Wait, yes, me sign up for this. As I say, you signed up for this, dude. Don't give me that. Yep, this is the Canada Post workers right here. Mostly Gilneas, from what I understand, J. Palmer. Could be both, though. We know, for example, that all of this down here, this was all Gilneas. So what's probably true is all this up here was probably Lordaeron. And, of course, over there was Dalaran. Lordaeron was a huge nation. It was probably the biggest and most prosperous of the human nations as of Warcraft 3. And then Warcraft 3 happened. Now, by Warcraft rules, what that means is Lordaeron has already been rebuilt completely from scratch, out of nowhere, and is now actually the biggest, most prosperous superpower in the entire setting. Yeah, I remember that change as Mirror. I was going to point it out when we get there, but gotta skip ahead. I see how it is. I mean, that actually makes sense, Lord Aramont. As of the events of Warcraft 3, Lordaeron was definitely the big fish. And as of the events of Warcraft 1, it was definitely Lordaeron and Stormwind. It's actually funny, the Chronicles book, and to my knowledge, nothing else, added a small but critical part of Warcraft lore. Apparently there's an event called the Knoll War. See, Stormwind is the most recent, newest, and relatively least... How do I put this? They're the most United States of the Seven Kingdoms. And I know that sounds kind of a weird way to put that, and can be taken in a lot of different ways, but what I mean by that is for the longest time, Europe didn't consider the United States a major power, even though they did wield territory and economic might and military might on the level or above most of the great powers, right? They were the new kids on the block, so they didn't count, in other words. So for a long time, the northern powers, which is the 6 nations, didn't consider Stormwind that much of a big deal. Then the Knoll War hit. During the Knoll War, Stormwind, it was kind of a pretty big deal, but Stormwind did reach out for help, and the Northern Kingdom said, eh. And so, I'm glossing over some stuff here. So Stormwind dealt with it themselves. This led to the very unpleasant precedence that Stormwind believed they could deal with their own problems without help from all those old European, I mean, Northern Kalimdori, Northern human nations. Don't need them. Who needs them, am I right? Then the demonic horde showed up. It's a nice little bit of additional lore, which is why I like it. It adds a bit of flavor to things, and it helps to explain why the Northern Kingdoms didn't help during the First War. Because they weren't asked to. Stormwind was like, yeah, no, we got this. And by the time it was apparent that they didn't get this, all they could do was run, which is exactly what they did.
What is it?
We are forsaken. This is how we do it.
Our time will come.
Take this cage. I've placed it inside one of my own mutant bush chickens with a few slight modifications. Within the butt of this chicken is a stick of dynamite laced with the gunk from the organs you brought me. Okay.
Remember, patience.
Almost assuredly, Nero says.
Lokta.
And yeah, that's pretty reckless. Also known as pretty stupid. When these crates are held steel thunder. With our weapons returned, we might have a chance to redeem ourselves.
Go forth to victory.
Hey, check it out. Boop. Do you see how I just equipped that item the moment I picked it up? Instead of just letting it sit in my inventory for like 3 days? Isn't that great how I did that?
Loktar.
Looks as if you gave those Worgen a beating, and in the process lifted the shame haze that cast over us. Maybe the sea dogs will quit drinking now. Ah, who am I kidding?
For the Horde.
Vengeance is all-consuming. Our third ship sank off the coast of the skittering dark northwest of here. The men that made off the boat were either captured or killed by the skitterwebs. For that, the spiders must die. All of them. Travel to the skittering dark and kill them.
Go forth to victory.
Some would say we are lucky to be alive. Those people would be idiots. At least had we died, we would not have to face the war chief's wrath. Alas, what's done is done. Now we must attempt to regain our lost honor. The third ship in our flanks sank off the coast. Go get the survivors. Okay, I can do it. Survivors get. Oh man, that would be really cool, Nero's As. See, that's kind of what I'm thinking, Jay Palmer. I could be wrong about that. The demonic horde was a hell of a power, right? And it was. It's kind of hard to overestimate just how strong the demonic horde was. But the strongest army doesn't matter if they have a solid bottleneck, which can be closed. If Stormwind had reached out for help immediately when it came to the demonic horde, there's a non-zero chance they would have been able to hold the demonic horde at the portal. Figured out how to close the portal, and then close the portal. And that would have been that. Now, that would have been a sea change. I couldn't even begin to predict what would be different then. No horde? That's, like, ground zero for events in this setting. At least in modern history. No Warcraft 1, no Warcraft 2, no Warcraft 3, no WoW. Like, that's right up there with saying, so what if the War of the Ancients never happened? Kinda, yeah, Jay Palmer. Yeah. What would happen if the Zerg never found the Terrans in StarCraft? Possibly, Lord Herma. I admit I am presuming that the forces of the combined human nations could have pushed back the demonic horde, and that is a presumption. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to bow without looking at the message. Turbo. Yeah, what if the bombs never dropped in Fallout? Oh, hello. The matriarch is nearby. We must kill her. That's pretty much all that quest said, was she's nearby. Oh, hello. There she is. I'm going to wait for Mr. Red on this. Oh, Mr. Red's here. Die, Mr. Red. Die to Monsieur Webb. I can't hit her. There we go. Hi, Miss Monsieur Webb. Listen, I live to bow to Evo. Hang on, let me actually write that down really quick here. Let's see. So it's going towards Pathfinder, Wrath of the schedule. Dragon Age 4. And Little Kitty, Big City. Okay. And thank you, Evo. I quit it. It's on random, no wonder. No, I would not, Jay Palmer. I've never actually had to implement this, but if anybody decides to just randomly be a dick or a troll, then they'll get the bird and be told to suck it. I do love jank, Evo. As is obvious from my Trine obsession. Look, it's not my fault the Trine games are good games, okay? No, I don't think you would do that, Jay Palmer, which is probably why I've never really had to deal with that problem. And there's Mongoose Bite. Mongoose Bite is a lot like the regular attack, but it also increases the damage of Mongoose Bite for 14 seconds, stacking up to 5 times.
Speak, friend.
You rescued our orcs and killed the matriarch. We owe you a great debt of gratitude. You saved us all from certain execution. I'm sure we can rouse these drunk
May your
idiots now.
blades never dull.
You sure?
Strength and honor. Fight well, friend.
Yeah, you gotta flush those puns out every now and again, you know.
I am forsaken.
An Etten is no remote chicken injector. It's a gun. It's just a gun. Whoop.
Greetings.
All right, this is your commendation letter. It's the least I could do given the circumstances. Return to Lady Sylvanas with the letter and inform her of our status. Let her know we'll be ready to march on her command.
Go forth to victory.
Nope, that's in Hillsbrad, Evo. We're not there yet. So impatient, God. I will admit I got derailed because we were talking about how bad Shadowlands was. Sorry. It really is funny how every discussion about Shadowlands boils down to how much it shouldn't exist. Like, when you really think about it.
I have no time for games.
And the orcs?
What are we?
So
if
the orcs are in
not
order.
to this torment?
Recovered their supplies, killed a dozen Worgen, toppled an Etten, freed soldiers, and destroyed the matriarch. I say this rarely, but I am impressed. Perhaps your ability matches your aspirations. We shall see. For now, you will be tested.
I have no time for games.
Fenris Isle stands defiantly at the heart of Lordmere Night, a cruel memory of a time long since past. Though no longer infested by gnoll vermin, a new threat has emerged. Human refugees, driven from their holdings in Hillsbrad, internal continuity, have fled to Fenris Isle in hopes of escaping defeat at our hands. Critical error on their part. Take Agatha with you. Raise the fallen as forsaken. Do not fail me, Balaga. Sorry. Not the Lich King. Not the Lich King. Time to be evil. Can we be not evil? No. Damn right. Refugees are the cause of every problem in the world. It's what the news media keeps telling me. So, while Agatha's with us, we actually get water walking. That's why I'm walking. I'm going to show this off. Just in case you don't feel like flying over there. Alright, hi refugees. Die, refugees. And she raises them just on the spot. Now, this is the exact moment where Sylvanas loses me. I do think that the option to have the ability to res people as undead is something that, under carefully managed and carefully designed opportunities, could be a thing, especially in this setting. That's not what this is. On any level, really. We are murdering people, and you notice some of these don't even fight back. They just cower. And then as soon as we finish murdering them, we immediately drag them back up as undead. Yeah, this is just basically being Scourge light. The only thing that makes this not as bad as the Scourge is they're not immediately compelled into servitude. And yet, as we've already discussed, they might as well be. Because once again, what are you going to do? There's actually a line later in Ambermill, I believe, where they specifically mention Well, I guess I have no choice now but to sign up with the Forsaken. Or something like that. Because it's like, what else are you going to do? You're undead now. Deal with it. Remember all of those people? Remember the 2 in 3 chance of people just going insane and immediately killing themselves or running around rampant? Remember the little peasant rebellion of people who, were so mentally traumatized by being raised as undead that they couldn't really cope with it? I want you to think about all that as we chipper shred through these people and mass raise them as dead. I see everything Swiftshot through Agatha. All is known to me. The humans will fare better in the afterlife as Forsaken. Uh-huh. You must strike at their leaders. You will find them holed up in the old keep. Battle your way inside and find the holdouts. Turn them for your queen. None shall escape the mighty grasp of the Forsaken. If I'm being honest, this isn't terribly written, but this is Sylvanas being straight up evil. There's no gray here. There's no debatable. There's no, I can see the perspective. This is just Scourge 2.0. It really is. This is exactly the kind of gameplay I would expect from literally playing as the Scourge. I should know, we did that back in Wrath. Oh yeah, let's just bring this up really quickly. So, why can't they bring back the Worgen as undead? I don't know. I could speculate, I could hypothesize, I could debate, but the answer, truthfully and simply, is I do not know. That's my general headcanon, is that the Worgen... Whoa, hello. The Forsaken have broken through your defenses, Magistrate. You are out of time. A decision must be made. Die in battle and be raised as a servant of the Forsaken. Drink in my blood and be reborn as a Worgen, immune to the depravity of the Forsaken. Help us destroy the Forsaken and retake Lordaeron for the Alliance. We would rather die than be turned into Worgen, but seeing as even death provides no relief from the atrocities of this war, we choose vengeance. I'm not going to mention the fact that, run! Run! Yeah, get us out of here, Agatha. Listen. I'm not saying that we're playing as the Zerg, although... Well, the composer who made this song, the composers, excuse me, did actually make a lot of WoW music, if that makes you feel any better, Lord Harriman. But the answer is no. Alright, Quel Dommage. Alright, so here's the answer, Disco. Nothing. No change. Doesn't even change his voice actor.
What are we, if not slaves to this torment?
It would seem Crowley is more formidable than I anticipated. Of course you may, Evo. Still, he is a man, flesh and bone, full of secrets. Secrets I know about. You served me well. I could use someone of your ability at the Sepulchre. I have a plan to deal with Crowley and his insurgents once and for all.
We are the Forsaken. We will slaughter anyone who stands in our way.
Monsieur Dommage, ride with me to the Sepulchre. Is this voice acted?
I have not always been the Banshee Queen, and my people have not always been the Forsaken. Long ago, this land comprised the northern kingdoms of Lordaeron, ruled by King Tyrannus Menethil. Tyrannus had a son named Arthas.
I love how she casually kills Worgen as we go.
Even saying his name makes my body quiver in rage. This man-child, Arthas, took for himself a cursed blade known as Frostmourne. Through Frostmourne, Arthas killed his own father and raised this land along with every living creature in it. My own death came at the hands of Arthas when he and his armies sacked my homeland, Quel'Thalas, and murdered my people. In his vast cruelty, Arthas severed my spirit from my body and raised me as a banshee to serve in his Scourge army. A similar fate befell all that would die to the Scourge war machine. In death, they were reborn as mindless undead, but Arthas was not invincible. With each passing day, his power waned, his grip over the will of the damned loosening. It was when Arthas was at his weakest that I struck. And though the hour of his atonement had come, the worm managed to escape his fate, returning to the frozen wastes of Northrend. With Arthas gone, so too was the control he held over the undead masses of Lordaeron. After recovering my body, I freed the remaining Scourge that were left behind. From the cruelty and mercilessness of Arthas, the man who would be Lich King, the Forsaken were born. Our goal, our sole purpose, was to destroy the Lich King. We threw our lot in with the Horde and began our journey towards redemption. Now, the Lich King is dead, and we have returned. The people who called this land their home in life do so in death as well. But the Alliance does not recognize our rights. They claim this land as their own, while attempting to invalidate the claims of the founders of this kingdom. I will never allow it. Never! Lordaeron belongs to the Forsaken, always and forever.
Yeah, by the way. Yeah, go play Starfield. Much better game. There's an interesting tidbit where the game doesn't really do a lot to talk about the legality of being dead. But if you think about it, it is a relevant thing, especially in a setting which still has things like, you know, lines of ownership and claims to territory and just general medieval crap, right? There are a couple of quests, and the cutscene we just saw, which indicate that several members of the Alliance surviving members of Lordaeron claim that all of this territory is actually theirs. And for various reasons, mostly greed, they want to press those claims. A lot of the Alliance, who is happy for any excuse to go after the Horde, is absolutely happy to back them on that. And so there's a couple of little tidbits where they kind of lean into it. Now, they only do that a little bit because Warcraft tends to only dip its toes into politics. But it is there in the background, and I've always found that kind of fascinating. Sorry, I just wanted to comment on that. A collision box to objects. What do you mean? I'm sorry, I don't understand. Brain dead.
What joy is there in this curse?
You understand now the importance of our mission here? Crowley and his Alliance dogs must be stopped.
We are the Forsaken.
A convoy of veteran...
Slaughter anyone who stands in our way.
Sure thing, Huthor. Yeah! A convoy of veteran troopers and Forsaken catapults were ambushed earlier today while attempting to cross Olson's Farthing directly south of here. It was a total loss. All troopers killed and catapults destroyed. Bloodfang's pack was responsible for the ambush, although likely they have all fled back into the hills, preparing their next cowardly strike. Their day will come, but for now I want you to go and honor our father. Fallen. Go to Farthing to honor our fallen. Ugh, words. There's plenty of costs to being undead. It's actually pretty unpleasant. It's mostly like being a regular human being, except worse in every way.
Strength and honor.
Those that survived your assault on Fenris managed to drink the blood of the wolf. They have turned into ferocious worgen hell-bent on vengeance. It's also probably worth noting, although they don't really touch on this, that quite a few of these emergency last-minute converts are probably feral. They probably don't really have, like, real control over themselves because they don't have the druidic blessing of the Night Elves to allow that to happen. After all, Ivar is not really one of the worgen. He's kind of one of the wild worgen, the feral worgen in the world. Oh, whatever. Now they paddle across Lordomir Lake. Assault my sea dogs. Many have already been killed. The worgen monsters must be stopped.
May your blades never dull.
Thank the war chief that you're here, Swiftshot. I've made a critical error with the sea dogs and I need your help to rectify. See, I sent them out against the worgen coming from Fenris Isle, stone cold sober. They attacked the beast and probably got their butts handed to them. Quick, take this barrel of ale. They can't fight unless they're drunk. What are they, monks? One of my favorite very, very minor tidbits from a book I otherwise didn't care for was a guy just got a new, I think it was arm, specifically. And he was like, all right, no problem. It's a little weaker than I'm used to, but give me some time and I'll work it back into shape. And he is promptly told, no, you won't. Your arm strength doesn't grow anymore. In order to have a stronger arm, you will quite literally need a stronger arm. It's like, oh, that sucks. Can Forsaken still eat? Not only that, they actually need to eat. How's that for fun? Looks like a group of ambushers stayed behind. Make sure they pay for their insolence. Kill the Bloodstalkers for Sylvanas, for the Horde. They don't need to breathe, which is interesting. What does eating accomplish? If I were to speculate on the matter, I would say it's kind of like how FF14 approaches eating. I know that sounds strange, but really think about what eating does in FF14. Yeah, exactly. It's just straight up fuel. You draw from the... In FF14, you draw from the ether of the food when you eat it. You don't have to do that. You can actually draw ether from food directly, rather than just trying to eat it. But eating it tends to be a little bit more enjoyable. Unless it's Archon loaf. We don't talk about that. Ugh. Oh, I get you, Evo. Oh, that's awesome. Congrats. That's true. Bodies have evolved to absorb ether through eating. So you tend to maximize your ether throughput. That's right. 1,000 brains. Num num. Look. Okay. The Banshee Queen's voice invites your thoughts. You have avenged the fallen, but there's more to be done. Search the nearby farmhouses for Alliance stragglers. Keep an eye out for any information that could lead us to Crowley and Bloodfang. Kill any who would stand in your way. Hey, at 21, we have access to Stratholme now. Oh my god! What is your status? This book documents a recent meeting with Ivar. The location mentioned is the Deep Elm Mine. I know this place. It only has one entrance. We shall corner and crush them. We must act quickly. They mustn't be given a chance to flee. I am dispatching a squadron of my most powerful troops to the Deep Elm Mine. I'm also sending the horsemen with them to ensure nothing goes wrong. Meet him at the mine and crush those rats.
Hello.
I suppose we're to corner them first and crush. Then crush, huh?
Patience. Discipline.
The mistress put me in charge of this lot. Our primary mission is to get in there, corner the rats, and kill them all, including Bloodfang. You've done us a solid service in getting the info. Join in the glory and help us drive a sword through their miserable skulls.
Dark Lady, watch over you.
Oh, sorry. My Worgen headcanon is that the curse of the Worgen, which, if you're thinking about it from a in-lore perspective, is effectively a Loa attempting to enforce its will upon you, that's what a feral Worgen is, overrides the ability to be brought back as undead. Basically, your soul is on lockdown. Hey, that's a lot of explosives. Like, a lot of explosives. What's this? Your doom. It's a trap! Run! And he literally flings us out. And then they're all dead. Cool. Interesting to think that's like the second time our Forsaken character could have just straight up died.
What are we, if not slaves to this torment?
I will see to it these insignias are returned to the Undercity at once. The registrar will place their names in our records so their sacrifice will never be forgotten.
I have no time for
What?
games.
Raleigh! Bastards. Those are some of our strongest soldiers. I have underestimated Crowley and the Bloodfang for the last time. Clearly they're an enemy the likes of which we've never seen, willing to sacrifice their own to set a trap like this. That's unheard of in alliance warfare. Is it, though? Yeah, no, exactly, Arspruce. Same concept. Like, I think the Alliance are more than willing to do whatever the hell they feel like. A setting where undeath has no drawbacks. Honestly, you're probably looking at the one that gets the closest. I actually don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z in terms of, like, undeath.
Brawl.
be honest, I didn't know Undeath was even in Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, Death Knights are functionally Type 4s. Now, I don't know that for total certainty, to be honest. But they sure act a lot like Type 4s, so I'm going to assume they are, in fact, Type 4s. AKA, no drawbacks. So-called perfect undead. Alright, let's grab Misdirect, and... Considering that's never been brought up ever since, I'm almost positive that was just a control mechanism the second Lich King put in place. In fact, I'm pretty sure that control mechanism is actually gone as of this point in time. Go over here. Let's lean right. Don't take that out of context. Gonna make so many jokes right now. I'm not going to. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm restraining myself.
Strength and honor. Brawlhall.
Have some booze. I may or may not have pissed myself. TMI, sir. I suppose in fairness, I am shooting booze into your mouth. Yeah, the one about Ed McMahon. You're a... Hi, Brigwin. Hatchet here. Are they dead? Those Worgen you killed were the scouting party. There's hundreds more coming. Looks like Crowley and Bloodfang made the blood offering to every human in Lordaeron. Well, let's go kill them all then. God. What else are we gonna do? Die, monsters. Filthy slime. Ugh. Anyone else smell wet dog? That's another thing. The Gilneans, you know, the Worgen, are from Gilneas, a place where it rains a lot. I'll let you infer from that what you want to. Don't let any of them land. Kill all of them, mercilessly. You know, later on, in Pandaria, a quest more or less identical to this is going to be treated like a war crime. I believe it's been like a few weeks since Gilneas, based on a couple of lines from other quests which mention the relative time frame. But the real answer is, of course, I don't know how long it's been since Gilneas fell. Are these Worgen wild? Near as I can tell, based on all context clues, I think they're just straight up feral, yeah. And they've been moved out here. They probably haven't completely lost themselves to the curse yet. Remember, it does take at least a little bit of time before you're completely feral. So they probably have enough intelligence to be like, I'll kill those Forsaken. And, you know, pick a direction and go. But that's probably about it. No, those are not Gilneans at all.
Lokta.
Although you killed a large number of the newly turned Worgen, many more are sure to appear. Especially since almost all of those Worgen are people from Hillsbrad. Survivors from Hillsbrad might be a better way to put that.
Magraw.
I knew it. Lesson learned, I suppose. We will not fail again. I'll be sure to have some ale on the front lines.
Be safe.
What joy is there in this curse?
The time has come to destroy Crowley and every dog at their command. To do this, though, will require cunning and planning, the likes of which they would never dare dream. I've decided to shoot them in the face. As one of my most trusted soldiers, I need you to go to the forward command and report to Deathstalker Commander Belmont. Ah! The now ironically themed survivors from Hillsblad. Yeah! Tell you what, Evos. As soon as I find a hole to crawl into and die, I'll let you know. Ugh. I love how Arthura says, "Do not be afraid, I will not let you fall." Are you sure? Knowing your mentality, you might just be like, I'll just raise you again as soon as you fall. Uh-oh, a Canadianism.
Speak quickly.
As we all know, Canadianisms actually cause me physical damage. Well, it isn't swift shot, noob. Hope you're ready for battle, because that's all you'll find in this hellhole. We're all at the heart of contested territory, and these Worgen mongrels won't give an inch.
Victory for Sylvanas.
The Dark Lady sent you and Arthur here for a specific purpose. Before I tell you more, we need to make preparations. Head into the east and search the trees and rocks of the region for a special plant known as Wolfsbane. Gather as much of it as you can carry and return to me.
Goodbye.
Die in a fire. Sorry. What I mean by that is, don't die in a fire. Look, as long as you don't say sorry. Nope, that's wrong. As long as you don't mean being sorry all the time, everything's fine forever. But the moment you think that you're sorry, damage.
This had better be good.
Thanks, creamy human being.
Trust no
I don't know how much longer we can hold out. Crowley and Bloodfang's Worgen know every hidey hole and safe spot in Gilneas. One minute they're standing in front of you, and the next minute they're gone. We're going to lose this war to attacks of opportunity, even though we have superior presence. But Mama didn't raise no quitter. Forsake until the end, my friend. Go kill rebels.
Beware the living. Trust
Yeah, this guy's name is actually Onslaught, by the way. Communications are down with our frontline outposts. As of right now, I don't have a damn clue as to the status of our troops in Gilneas. We need to re-establish communications. Go there and find their FCD, the Forsaken Communication Device. What is with the military and acronyming everything? God dang. TMA. Yeah, I noticed that he was wearing the Onslaught set. Because of course he was. Let's just get all this Wolfsbane here, don't mind me. Ah, Gilneas is lovely this time of year, isn't it? Really, Huthor? Do you mind sharing? Also, it's in Shadowlands, so it's automatically not considered for continuity. That sounds like a joke. But I actually did a fairly large amount of work earlier to justify why Shadowlands should not be considered for consideration when it comes to counting continuity. but I am curious where that is. So I've read that short story. What's the main reason? Summarize your entire argument, lore. Okay. Shadowlands sucks, therefore it shouldn't be continuity. That's not really the argument. I'm being facetious. Okay, here, I'll summarize my argument. In Star Trek, there's a system-size amoeba that's canon. Do I know anyone who counts Shadowlands as continuity? Probably just Huthor. Because if there's one thing that I know about Huthor, it's that he does the opposite of whatever I do. Oh, wow. That's interesting, Huthor. I wonder what their explanation is for why that even exists. Because no other undead feels that. So, like, why exactly? Nah, I don't even care. I don't even care.
What is it?
Did you gather the Wolfsbane?
Beware the living.
Good. No, just do as Forward Commander Onslaught commands. Try to fit in with the rest of the soldiers. We don't want the Gilneas Liberation Front to get suspicious. Oh, you didn't know they were watching us. Right now there are 5 different Worgen spies looking down at our position. Just be calm and follow orders. I'll let you know when we're ready to proceed.
Dark Lady, watch over you. I am forsaken.
If I could still breathe, I'd let out a sigh of relief. Don't get too comfortable, though. Your mission here has just begun.
Victory for Sylvanas.
With this device, I'll be able to communicate with you in the field. Now, to check the rest of our frontline outposts.
Patience. Discipline.
Hello? I'm not gonna lie to you. What I'm about to ask you to do is suicide. Chance of failure, 95%. All communications from Dreadwatch have been severed. With the Worgen constantly rushing us, we have no means by which to get to Dreadwatch to check on our soldiers. I need you to head south to the outpost and check on our soldiers. I'll keep in contact through the FCD. Keep clear of the main road.
Goodbye.
Let's see, for the purposes of headcanon, sure, Huthor, but for the purposes of review, well, that's a little trickier, isn't it? Dreadwatch is lost? This is bad. Real bad. Dreadwatch is compromised. It means we've lost Gilneas City. Our next outpost is Rootsak's Guard, located due east of Dreadwatch. Make your way there while avoiding the Worgen rushers. You don't want to deal with those monsters yourself. If you make it there in one piece, look for Captain Rootsak. So let's see. I want Valerian to join us. Evo is welcome to join us. Then there's me. So that leaves room for 2 people to do Shadowfang Keep. And we're getting, I'd say like 30, 40 minutes from it. Something like that. So there's your time frame. I'm going to try to stop talking about war. I do apologize. Yeah. After we lost Gilneas, the port fell. The humans are here. Reinforcements from Stormwind. They slaughtered my men, left me alive to witness their strength. To tell High Command the 7th Legion are here. Dun, dun, dun. They rushed us in the dead of night. Their captain barked orders that the submariner slaughtered my men. Then he came to me, put his face to mine, and said something I'll never forget. My name's Master Sergeant Pietro Zarin, officer of the 7th Legion. When you see your soldiers being slaughtered in your nightmares, if you even still dream, remember my name and tremble. Yeah, the 7th Legion are apparently now colossal racists. That's cool. That's good to know. I don't remember if the 7th Legion were in Vanilla. I know they were in Wrath, and I think they were referenced in BC. Because BC is when the Kor'kron were invented as well, I think. The 7th Legion are an elite ops. They've been here behind the scenes from almost every major offensive and military engagement the Alliance has ever done. It's bad. How'd they get past our warships? On whose orders are they here? We need to get our hands on those orders. Kill the Sergeant. kill him. Kill him now. Hey, Sergeant. What's up? Oh, hang on. Hi, Sean. No, exactly, Huthor. They have no problem referencing Shadowlands, but they're definitely cherry-picking it. And you know what? I'm kind of okay with that, as absolutely bizarre as that sounds. If I could be really blunt, more writers need to be willing to abandon canon. And I know that's really shocking coming from me, but I stand by that. A lot of people think that because I am pro-continuity, which I am, that I am pro-continuity, period. That's not how that works. Not here in reality land. Sometimes you or someone else screwed up, or didn't put out your best, or made a mistake, or whatever, right? It happens, especially in long-standing franchises, which last for years or decades. Nobody actually thinks the Christmas Holiday Special is canon to Star Wars, and nobody should. Nobody thinks Splinters of the Mind's Eye is canon, and nobody should. We need to be willing to say, that was a mistake, and kick it off the board. Yeah, I noticed they're just Gilnean citizens. So, yeah, no, I think it's actually a good thing that they are taking that approach with Shadowlands. They're cherry-picking several things from it, and that's fine. And they're just kind of ignoring everything else, and that's fine, too. Yeah, I was about to say, this is not the first time WoW has completely abandoned something. Cough, cough, Medan. So... yeah, have they even referenced the Jailer? No. And I agree with Huthor. I will be shocked if they ever even reference the Jailer again. And I mean reference, like a line of dialogue somewhere. He is probably gone. And it's a good thing. To be blunt. You don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. We can be precise about this sort of thing. We can use a scalpel. Yeah, you know what? Luthor's actually right. If they ever reference the Jailer, it'll be part of a referential joke. Blizzard likes to do that all the time. How many of you have played Trine 3 and or 4? I'll use a direct example of this. This is when everyone in chat says, we've never heard of that game before. Okay, so in Trine 3, let me actually give you a little bit of backstory. So Trine 1 was an experimental throw-together game. Trine 2 was a success. Trine 3 was a colossal failure. They decided to make the move to 3D, and it flopped hard, and the whole game literally stopped. There you go, Puthor, perfect. The game literally stopped in mid-stride, like at the end of Act 1, and then just, that's the end of the game. So, Trine 3 really, really sucked. In Trine 4, they made a joke, which you had to do a puzzle to unlock, where there's a book labeled Trine 3. And a dog has eaten all the pages out of the last 2/3 of the book. It's really strange. Like, you get it? They turned it into a joke. And that's fine. That works. You acknowledge your mistake. You acknowledge that you screwed up on that. And it's like, yeah, okay. And it helps that Trine 4 is actually a frickin' good game. Same idea, right? If they come up with... what would be the Murloc name for the Jailer? Merlval, maybe? Merlval! Something like that. Or Zavril, or something like... I don't know. But, like, if they go with a Murloc the Jailer who's like... I would actually be okay with that. Anyways. Zarin. Your first objective is to take and hold the Cathedral Quarter of Gilneas City. From there, I want you to work with Lord Crowley's Worgen to push forward into enemy territory. Take out their near outposts and cut their lines of communication. King Rin, hi King Rin, most amazing as dick is so big Rin, has assured me that a full armada of warships is en route and should be arriving any day. Once the rest of the fleet is here, we will launch an all-out assault on Forsaken Forward Command and beat back those worthless maggots into Silverpine Forest. Once Gilneas is securely in Alliance control, we'll begin preparations for retaking Lordaeron. P.S. Launch a signal flare when ready for the Forsaken High Command. The 7th Legion are Special Ops Force. Yeah, I know. Status? An Alliance Armada's en route. How could this have happened? You gotta hurry. We're being overrun at forward command. Look around the Cathedral Quarter. There should be a telescope nearby. Find it and use it to scout the harbor. Hurry back. We can't hold these beasts back much longer. Though we are shamed in battle, the enemy was not victorious. I will not soon forget this. If I make it back from Silverpine, I will likely retire from service. War is not in my blood. Yeah. I honestly imagine a lot of Forsaken have that exact reaction. No, really, think about it for a moment. Think about all of the people who... Think about all of the people who are Forsaken. All of the civilians. In fact, it's predominantly civilians, if you're thinking about it. Think about all the, like seamstresses, and farmers, and tillers, and miners, and craftsmen. Yeah, non-combatants who have a sword shoved in their hands and go serve the Forsaken. It's like, okay. This is mostly the realm of head canon, but I like to think that at least part of the movement towards the Forsaken becoming a representative government is because of those people. The people who really didn't want to be a part of any of this nonsense. Yeah, exactly. We were talking about earlier, Huthor. I'm probably wrong about the specifics, but unless I'm mistaken, the Forsaken were the first ones to go with representative leadership of the major races, as opposed to just straight-up dictatorship or military dictatorship. The Horde as a whole followed suit. But I think the Forsaken were the first. I was wondering about the gnomes, but they still have a king last I checked. Good evening, Mr. Floyd. I think the first... I think the Night Elves still technically have a lock on being the most progressive race. But yeah, the Forsaken are probably right behind them. Do it, Evo. You don't have to. Although, actually, you know what? Don't. I take it back. Don't join. Because we want people that are 35 and up for the purposes of testing and developing. Torpedoed! We had everything at the waterline covered, but nothing below the water. They must have snuck in below our defenses and blown our warship system in the reins. And now the rest of the Alliance fleet is nearly here. Swiftshot, can you hear me? Howls can be heard in the background. Come in, Swiftshot! This is likely my final transmission. The Worgen have overrun Forsaken Forward Command, and it's now only a matter of time before the base is lost. Oh god. Belmont and Arthura have left. Belmont mentioned they will be rendezvousing with you at Emberstone. Find Belmont. Our mission, our very existence depends on it. Okay. The Night Elves were a theocratic military organization until Sylvanas. Until Night Elf Sylvanas stepped down. That's extremely recent. That's as recent as Dragonflight. I'm not actually 100% sure what the organizational structure of the Night Elves is right now, because they haven't really covered that. But Tyrande stepped down. So, who knows?
What now?
Forward Command fought back to the bitter end. Took a pack of bloodthirsty Worgen to finally bring back down Forward Commander Onslaught. We must not let his death, or the death of our soldiers in Gilneas, go to vain. Our mission must succeed. Now, I will reveal to you why we are here.
Beware the living.
Lord Vincent Godfrey spent his life defending the kingdom of Gilneas. When the Worgen curse ravaged the land, Godfrey was one of the first Gilneans to take up arms against the beasts. It is said that upon discovering his king was afflicted by the curse, Godfrey took his own life. He'd rather be dead than serve the very creatures he defended his home against. Remember that? I don't blame you if you don't, but it was part of the Gilneas starter experience.
Trust no one.
He led a brief nobles' rebellion. We put that down, and then he jumped off of a cliff. And funnily enough, if you remember, this is the exact spot we were at when that happened. And he went over here. And he jumped off over here. And, hey, what do you know? There's his body.
I'm listening.
Here we are. He's a little rotted, but no worse for wear. We must hurry before the Alliance finds us.
Remember, patience.
That was strange. What? That's an interesting bug. I'm gonna relog. Okay, I'll go with Mr. Red to the other spot. But there really should be a follow-through or a vector quest there. That isn't. Yeah, so I don't have a quest to kill these. Like I said, everyone faded out for a second and faded back in, so... the Kata SFK story is completely different than the vanilla SFK story. Different bosses, different trash, different story. Same terrain. That's the only thing that's the same. Yeah, so let's go ahead and relog, see what happens. Ah, Kata. Bugs be thy name. I can actually bring a whole lot of things, so consider me a wild card on that. I mean, SFK is formally a Kata dungeon, so I anticipate it'll be decent. No quests. Interesting. Okay. Not really disco. It's a pretty rare thing in gaming, I've noticed. Oh man, SFK Heroic was mean, and I loved those achievements. Okay. One moment. Yeah, maybe I just straight up missed it over there. Let's head over there. Let's see what happens. It's possible that by literally flying, I skipped the quest trigger, because in some cases, they expect you to be in a region, and that's what gives you the quest. Yeah, like that, right there. This is Commander Lorna Crowley of the Gilneas Liberation Front. If you're hearing this message, you know what the Alliance once again controls Gilneas. Lay down your weapons and surrender. Failure to comply will result in your death. Our forces have locked into your position and will arrive shortly. Resistance is futile. There we go. Yep, nope, I was right. It's a position thing. That's actually my bad. I'll give the game that. You know what? Actually, hang on. I can think of a game, Disco, and it's not going to sound like it, but it is, I swear. Give me a minute. I can't think of the name of it, though. The Magic Circle. That's the one. Ooh. I want that. Do I want flanking strike or improved wildfire bomb? Decisions. I have in fact done a modern review of that game, Disco.
What is it?
No time to bask in the battle. In the battle glory. We have a job to do. Okay, now. Come on. Work with me here, game. Oh, shoot. Oh, this is probably bad. Oh, yeah, this is bad. This is bad. Yep. That's okay. That's okay. I got this. Yeah, do endgame world quests and events, Hero. I'm very much not joking. Most world quests that give gold will give you 4-digit gold per world quest, and doing events usually gives you in the thousands range as well. Okay, so, hey there!
Hello.
With our mission objective secured, the time has come for us to make our escape. Though Gilneas is lost, with the aid of Godfrey and his lieutenants, we'll have it back in no time at all. Go now. Fly back with Arthura to the Forsaken Front.
Goodbye.
Once you accept the quest.
Time
There
will
we go.
come.
What about you, Belmont? How will you get back? I'll be fine. The Worgen lost our scent. It's doubtful they even know we're here. I'll probably make it back to the Forsaken Front before you two. 3. Now move out. He was never heard from again. Meanwhile, I'm joking. He shows up several times after this. He's in Legion briefly, he's in BFA several times, and he is in Shadowlands, and Dragonflight, and War Within. Yeah, I was gonna say, he's on the Desolate Council. I was trying to find a list of the whole member. Oh, here we go. Alia, Lillian, Farinel, Belmont, and Velinara. I actually recognize every single one of those. Yeah, I was gonna say, Farinel goes all the way back to Vanilla. He's poked his head in quite a few times. And Velinara, I'm double checking myself here. Yep, she was in Darkshore. No, not that one. The other one. Thank you for dropping me off at the pit, Arthur.
We are the Forsaken. We will slaughter anyone who stands in our way.
We have to? I had no doubt you would succeed. I hope you understand why I kept the true purpose of your mission a secret. Should Crowley and the Bloodfang have found out our plan, they would have gotten to Godfrey first and disposed of the body.
What joy is there in this curse?
You are unwavering in your loyalty to the Forsaken. Am I, really? Knowing what you have done for us and for the Horde will not go unnoticed. With Godfrey and his men recovered, we'll have a great advantage over the Gilneas Liberation Front. You know, can I just say really quick? This has always irritated me. Sylvanas and everyone else just sort of assumes that having these Gilneans on their side will be this big advantage. They never explain how or why. Anyways. Rise, Lord Vincent Godfrey. Be reborn as an instrument of my vengeance. I live again. You live to serve me, Godfrey. Together we will crush the Worgen uprising and retake Gilneas for the Forsaken. For the Horde. Yes, of course. The irony of what I've become is not lost upon me, Lady Sylvanas. Though, as I've always said, better dead than Worgen.
What are we, if not slaves to this torment?
Today marks a new beginning for the Forsaken and the end of the Alliance in Murder.
I have no time for games.
While Godfrey and I make preparations for our assault on Gilneas, I want you to lead our attack upon Ambermill. The former Dalaran Magi of Ambermill have erected a magical barrier that somehow cloaks them from vision. They currently reside in some type of pocket dimension, awaiting orders from the Alliance to begin their attack. We must prevent their assault by making a preemptive strike. I can do that. I love killing mages. They taste the best. The Magi of Ambermill have employed foul magic to keep us away. Elemental servitors, created with immunities that we cannot breach, protect their territory. So, let's get this out of the way. Can orcs become Worgen? Yes. Can Tauren become... wait, did I say Worgen? Yeah, no, orcs can become Worgen, Tauren can become Worgen, anybody can become a Worgen. They only do it with Gilneans because... Look, making models is a lot of work, okay? It's the same exact reason why there's only human Forsaken, even though there is absolutely no reason for that. And yes, that's like right at the beginning of the zone, Mr. Floyd. I suppose that's fair, Lord Harriman. So what do you think the excuse is, then? I mean, the answer's obvious. The excuse is, but Worgen are part of the Alliance, and therefore must be on the Alliance. But orcs cannot be on the Alliance, for they are orcs! And that's probably the excuse, if I were to guess. What's really funny is Tauren Worgen would make perfect sense. In fact, it would make more sense for there to be Tauren Worgen than the fact that we have human Worgen, really. Oh yeah, also Night Elves, while we're on the subject. That's valid, Lord Harriman, but there's actually still an asterisk to that. You mentioned earlier, quite validly, that the allied race Death Knights have a completely different starter zone. One that's like 30 seconds long. There's your cheap and dirty answer. You were raised as an orc of the Horde. But when your druidic allies offered you the curse of the Worgen, you accepted it immediately and without hesitation. Now you will use your new Worgen form in order to serve the Horde, and then boom, you're done. And then now you're in the Valley of Trials. Boop. Easy peasy. You know, I don't know, Yura. The overwhelming majority of Worgens stay in Worgen form in lore, but that might just be for identification purposes. Well done. The praise the Banshee Queen lavishes upon you is apparently not unfounded. Thanks. I think.
What are we, if not slaves to this torment?
Clever mages. The Codex is sealed by a magical ward. Pity they weren't clever enough to realize that former archmages of Dalaran are now forsaken.
What joy is there?
Take this Codex to the Sepulchre. Once there, talk to Dalar Dawnweaver. Blah. Dalar is a former archmage of the Kirin Tor. Surely he will be able to bring down the protective wards. Hurry. Okay, God. So demanding. Let's see. What do we got? So we've got... Ooh, those are all pretty good, actually. Let's land, so I stop driving my viewers insane. Let's go with that for right now. The most altruistic thing Sylvanas has ever done is probably, unironically, not killing her nephews and sisters. That's probably as close to good as she's ever been.
I'm listening.
The Dark Lady requires my expertise. Of course. Give it here, boy.
Dark Lady,
The Dark Lady is correct in her assertion that I'm able to unlock the Codex. Unfortunately, I need a signet ring. My own ring was taken when I died, but there might be a way. Old Dalaran has floated away. The outskirts of the city remain. Go find the Archmage known as Relios. Take his signet ring and bring it back to me.
Victory for Sylvanas.
Under ordinary circumstances, I am not a vengeful man. In fact, I am somewhat of a pragmatist. You see, practicality is a paradoxical notion to vengeance. Most revenge ploys are highly impractical. But, in this case, since you're already going to the ruins of Dalaran, you might as well kill every Dalaran-affiliated human you see. The reasons I want them dead range from hatred to anger to betrayal, but I assure you, they are all legitimate gripes.
Dark Lady, watch your...
Yeah, I heard about that as Miristar. And honestly, that makes sense. So I haven't gotten to show this off yet. This is where Dalaran used to be. There's a paladin who forgot to invuln. Yep, in BC there was just this big purple dome. Right about where the existing purple dome is, actually. Right there. Got it. Okay, that sucks. Now, what do you want to bet Valerian is faking that just to make sure that they don't have to actually join us for this? I say mostly jokingly. I don't know. I don't know. Sus. Sus. The arcane remnants pulse with strange energy. Perhaps you should search for more remnants. Surely Delara would be interested in such a find. But yeah, it's actually a fairly big deal that the mages of the Kirin Tor are neutral up until the events of Pandaria. Like mid-Pandaria, really. As a consequence, the Forsaken just randomly running through and slaughtering tons of Kirin Tor kind of runs into the face of that. So what level's your shaman, Cure White Noise? Cure White Noise, Mr. Red. Spartan said he's on call. Myself. I will need a fifth, though. Fife is there. I think they did, Mr. Floyd Pickerton. I think you're right. I know Khadgar wasn't having any of that nonsense, but I'm not sure how much that's true for the whole Kirin Tor, because Khadgar just doesn't give a crap. He's like, look, I'm busy dealing with real things. When you kids are done playing with your toys, come let me know. I like Khadgar, by the way. And not just because Tony Amendola is just frickin' amazing. The only reason I don't hate Odin even more is because of his voice actor. That's all I'm saying. Let's find this roamer. Oh, he's right there. As I say, Jaina is still the Supreme Commander of Kul Tiras, isn't it? Supreme Admiral, whatever the title is. Well, it's easy to remember Lord Hermod, because one of them is alive, awesome, and amazing. The other one's dead. Poor guy. He didn't realize that we were actually going to pry it from his dead hands. I guess he was giving us instructions, really, if you think about it.
That better be good.
Did you just recover $1 in Archmage's signet ring?
Our time will
Perfect. I
come.
hope this wasn't too much trouble to come by. Aurelios was a pupil of mine back when I was a mortal man, thereby making him a competent and formidable adversary. I suppose I could have warned you ahead of time. Now let's see the ring. Yes, here we are.
Victory for Sylvanas.
Ah! Oh, that's bad. Okay. With this ring, only one may enter the pocket dimension. That person will need to fight through an army of magi and kill the Archmage that is generating the phase from inside. Then the dimension will fold, ejecting all the magi. So, have fun.
Goodbye.
Now that for sure the death of a dozen of my most hated enemies, I would feel a great burden lifted from my shoulders. Sadly, I do not feel a thing. Perhaps I am a psychopath.
Remember, patience.
Smart boy. I can most definitely use these arcane remnants in my studies. Indeed, Dahlon was built upon a massive ley line. It's no wonder such a thing exists in the crate.
Trust no one.
Don't remind me, Huthor, please. Yeah, it's actually funny. Jaina actually does have an official title and rank. Thrall does not. Thrall is just Thrall. Or Goel, if you prefer.
We are the Forsaken. We will slaughter anyone who stands in our way.
Only one may enter. I know just the person for this mission. She nods at you. I'll prepare our forces to have them ready.
I have no time for games.
Take the ring. Make your way to Baron's Peril. Okay. Back it up. Hang on, I got a couple quests from Chromosh.
Thrall Hall.
These Worgen take us for fools. One would think only an idiot would mistake one of their druids in bear form as a real bear. Unfortunately, there are many idiots at the Forsaken Front. We've already lost a few battalions to organized Worgen bear attacks. Yes, it's even more idiotic than it sounds. Directly east of here, you will find Worgen druids masquerading as bears.
May your blades never dull.
Ignore my duplicate who is roaming around here. Nope, don't look at them. Don't look at them, it's fine, it's fine. I mean, really, and I mean this with total sincerity. No joking, no memeing, no bias, no nothing. Thrall is probably the most Horde character in the entire series. I kind of hope he never takes any kind of official position. Like, I was actually really happy during BFA, because they were like, you know, oh my god, Thrall's coming back and he's going to take over and become the new war chief. And I was just sitting there going, no! No! Don't make him the war chief. And they didn't. They didn't. Thank God. Thrall, yeah, first of all, he deserves his regular retirement. But second and more importantly, he really shouldn't be a part of the formal government. That's not really his role. He kind of is a PC, you know? He's the adventurer over there doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done. He's good at that. Thrall is the guy who shows up in town and says, hey, I got an issue I need some help with. And everyone in town is going to be like, you frickin' got it. By the way, this exact event happens in War Within. I don't think we really have an orc leader. I suppose Eitrig is our current orc representative on the council, but I'm not even sure about that, to be honest with you. You know what? I actually got a really good way to put this. Thrall is like Raynor. I know that sounds strange, but no, think about it for a second. The person who was militarily in charge of Raynor's raiders was Matt Horner. Raynor, however, is Raynor. His rank is James Raynor. Or Jimmy, if you prefer. And yeah, no, exactly as Minister. He occupies that exact same slot in the story. Yeah, exactly, Kira White Noise. Thrall is able to mobilize pretty much the entirety of the forces of the Horde on his word. And that is exactly how that should be. None of this garbage. Is this the right way? Yep, no, it is. Okay, stop doubting yourself, Lore. You've done these quests before, recently even. And of course, Jaina, she's literally in charge of the biggest fleet in the world, actually. So, yeah, of course she can pull that. I'm really liking survival, by the way. Sorry, very massive off-topic thing there. It's taken me a minute to really get the feel for it, because survival feels kind of weak early on. Maybe weak's the wrong word. Simple? We'll go with simple. Ooh, that's actually a good question, Lord Aramont. In Warcraft? Probably not, no. Like, probably the only exception would be the player characters if we were a character, which we are not. The closest we ever came to that was in Legion. Yeah, that's it. Now run the ring along the runes. I should be able to attune for transdimensional travel. Alright. Be warned. Once you step through, you'll appear in another dimension of Amberville. There'll be 100, maybe 1,000 magi waiting to kill you. Maybe 20. Alright, 20 magi. Let's go! Yeah, now that Jaina Proudmoore is back to being frickin' Jaina, after that brief foray of being they couldn't decide what to do with her character. I do like the little detail that there's a whole bunch of Forsaken troops just waiting right there for us to lower the shield. In fact, here, I'm going to scooch over here just so you can see these. You see all that nonsense out there? All those green names? Yeah, there's artillery, troops, and a Valkyr. Yeah, they're taking this assault seriously. I mean, Gandalf is probably a really good comparison. And indeed, Thrall is probably based off of Gandalf, as are a lot of non-aligned adventurer PC type characters. The "hi, I know what I'm talking about, please listen to me" character. Fun fact, in Lotro, we play a Gandalf type character. No joke. This is extremely old lore at this point. I'm sure this has only been developed even further since then. Yeah, Obi-Wan's another great example of this. But all the way back in the day, there was a quest where Elrond was like, I'm not sure what to do about this situation. Hey, player character, can I get your advice on this? And something about that moment has always stuck with me. Elrond is like, hey, I need your ear. Excellent work. Now to eject them into our waiting hands. You must find the being responsible for keeping this dimensional pocket active. Likely that fool Atteric. Search the compound for him. Yeah, he's right there. Should you find him, do what you must to stop him from channeling his magic. Hi, Archmage Atteric. How are you? That's an interesting question, then, Earth. I don't have a good answer for that, though. He certainly wants to do that. And Lord knows the Alliance are actively trying to wipe out the Forsaken, so I suppose, technically, she has a lot of motivation for doing so. Come on, what else you got, buddy? Huh? What else you got? We will never give up. You know, you're just making this worse for yourself. More or less literally. The armies of the Alliance will march on your bones. Yeah. Existential threat, blah, blah, blah. You're evil, I get it. Lordaeron belongs to the Alliance. That is an interesting statement, which, once again, they don't cover as much of as I'd like to. Sorry, buddy. You're all very dead. Good news, though. That's not the end. You have been given a second chance at life. Congrats. One of the things I find funniest about this is it makes perfect sense that these people who know the Alliance are coming up here en masse to wipe out all undead, when switched to undead, have no real choice but to join them. I mean, they could just die again, but you get my point, right? It's like, well, I know that my former allies are coming up here to kill me. So... pretty much, Lenerith.
We are the Forsaken.
Had I not witnessed what you did...
Anyone who stands in our
Shut up!
way.
Had I not witnessed what you did with my own eyes, I would not have believed it. Now, with the Amber Mill Magi on our side, there's but one thing left to do before we retake Gilneas and send those Alliance dogs running for Stormwind.
What are we, if not...
And that is an eternal scare chord. Jesus Christ. Music, music, music. Chill, chill, chill. Okay, there we go. The hour of victory approaches. Godfrey has devised a plan to decimate our enemies. I'm sending you into the field
I have no time for games.
to assist him and bring the rebel insurgents to their knees. Okay, I'm cool with that.
Speak, friend.
I only hope we don't end up getting beat down by the inconspicuous birds, cats, and trees, or seals! Could you imagine it?
Go forth.
Oh my god, he just gave us bear steaks. They're bear steaks. The attacks against our front are a distraction. With our attention turned towards Worgen Onslaught, the Alliance has managed to take Pyrewood. It must be purged. With these torches, we will burn Pyrewood Village to the ground, leaving only ashes for the enemy to hide behind. Let's not waste another minute. Our enemies are becoming smarter, adapting to our tactics. Recently, an attack was made on Pyrewood south of here. Our troops occupying the town were decimated, of course, but what made the attack especially interesting was the racial composition. No humans were used. Rightfully, they fear being reanimated as Forsaken. Let's show them what happens to the corpses we cannot use. Our forces in Pyrewood were recently taken by a sneak attack. The 7th Legion managed to infiltrate town with their troops, ultimately decimating ours. The Dark Lady has tasked us with a rescue mission. We're to find any survivors and get them out. If any soldiers live, they are likely worthless, but we will do as command. Let's get this nonsense over with. Being Forsaken has its benefits. Let's see. I'm able to practically live underwater. I can stay submerged 233% longer than any mortal. Yes, I count it, 233%. Oh, now I'm able to shrug off mind control effects because I don't have a brain. Perhaps the best part, I have a hungering for the flesh of other humanoids. Cannibalizing the rotten corpses gives me power. Thanks, Ashbury. Appreciate you. So yeah, Gilnean architecture now. We mentioned this earlier. This is undoubtedly Godbury's fault. Well, yeah. Godfrey, not Godbury. I can talk. Down you go. Also, we're getting pretty close to the dungeon at this point, so just a bit of a heads up. We overheard the orders were no survivors. Damn right. No survivors. If this is Godbird, yeah, we'd already be done. Soon nothing will be left of Gilneas or the Worgen taint. Shadowfang, yes. The dungeon that's right there. Some people only watch the world burn. Others want to be the ones responsible for it. Keep the conversation curt. I'm in no mood for whining or rambling. Through fire, we will purge this land of its impurities. The part of me that was Gilnean died at Tempest's Reach. Only vengeance remains. To that end, we have work to do. Spare me your pointless queries. Yeah, Godfrey... So, you remember how I mentioned that everyone takes their death and rebirth differently? Godfrey was already a pretty bad person. He becomes a much worse person when he's raised as undead. Now, oh my god. Every now and again, by the way, as you rescue one of these troops, Godfrey just straight up shoots them. Like, you rescue them, they're like, oh, thank God, and then Godfrey just shoots them. Dead. See if I can show this off a little bit here. They're everywhere. Watch out. Ah, he didn't shoot him. I mean, that's a good thing, but, you know. Well, plus, he died under bad circumstances. Like, really think about it from his perspective. Not that I have any sympathy for this monster at all. Yeah, there you go. Just straight up shot her and called her a worthless maggot. Jesus, dude. So, he's part of Gilneas. Cool. There's a rebellion against its rightful leaders. Unpleasant. And then he spends years fighting the Worgen. Ugh, filthy, disgusting Worgen. Learns to hate the Worgen. Aw, I'm sorry, Linarith. Learns to hate the Worgen. You need, like, one guy. Then, it turns out that half of his kingdom and his own king are now Worgen. He makes a last-ditch, desperate effort to go ahead and turncoat. Essentially leads his own rebellion against his own king. Loses, and commits suicide. Almost immediately afterwards, the next thing that happens is that, from his perspective, he's raised back up from the dead and being told, all right, we want you to go kill Gilneas. And he's just like, fine. I suspect we'll see fewer humans at the battlefront. The risk for these cowards is too great. What happened here today is between us. Say a word to anyone, you'll find yourself in a corpse pit next to these poor fools. While destroying Pyrewood will certainly garner us an advantage over the Alliance, our true purpose is to leave them crippled. Southwest of here lies the 7th Legion base camp. We must search the base camp for battle plans. The Alliance reinforcements have established a foothold in the southwest region of Silverpine. Our primary goal is to sow discord. This is a lightning-fast assassination mission. His death won't stop Alliance advance, but it'll soften their ranks. Yes, Disco. As soon as you make it, get to it. I've given you $10 and a week to make the game. Go. You'll also notice they send us against a bunch of elites here. But the 3 guys we've got with us are not quite but elites, but they're kind of elites anyways, so they do a crap ton of damage. Good gameplay. Actually, yeah, Lord Haramont, that's exactly right. Probably the exact same tech, too. I know they developed this for Kata, or in Kata, however you want to think of that. There we go. The rest of the Alliance fleet will arrive shortly, only to find their base camp decimated. Search every filthy dwarven corpse. Looks like reinforcements from the ships from Gilneas are marching soon. Crowley and Bloodfang have set up an encampment in the southeast for the GLM. You just got a useless ability. Isn't that cool? Lorna Crowley, daughter of Lord Darius Crowley, is currently at the Gilneas Liberation Front camp, southeast of the Greyman Wall. Our primary mission is to infiltrate the camp and capture her alive. The Dark Lady believes she'll be able to use Lorna as a bargaining chip. I say we just kill her and bring her back, but we must do as we're commanded. I always loved Silverpine until the Lich King let loose his rampaging scourge armies and turned the land to a massive rotting corpse pit. Oh, shoot. Run! Or kill! Killing is also cool! That would make a lot of sense, Uthor. What level are you, by the way, Linerith? Because we're kind of aiming for 35 as the floor here. And I know you've got a free account still. Well, I shouldn't say no. Last I checked. Hello, Lorna Crowley. So the Banshee Queen said assassins. Nice shield. Lorna, is that how you greet old friends? Godfrey, so the rumors are true. You would betray your kingdom out of spite. My kingdom? My kingdom is no more. Your father, Greymane, saw to that. Gilneas died when they allowed murderous beasts to reign free, unchecked. Now lay down your arms and surrender. We're not here to kill you. Not yet. You'll have to kill me. Die! Lorna. Well, my thoughts, Uthor, are either Xavius, or more likely someone like, say, Khadgar. No, I would rather you be higher level for the sake of scaling and doing the dungeon properly, Linerith. We've sort of established a tendency of 35+-ish is a good-ish range in order for the dungeon to be done properly so we can actually review the dungeon. In short, if the choice is taking 15s or doing it later with higher levels, then we'll just wait and do it later with higher levels.
What joy is there in this curse?
We've done it. Finally, everything is in place. Should Crowley not accept our terms, his daughter will be turned.
What are we, if not slaves to this torment?
Our armies clash across the battlefield. Crowley and his forces are losing ground, and they do not yet know the fate of Lorna Crowley. We will meet with Crowley and his compatriots in midfield, and I will present them with terms of their surrender. They will accept or we will kill them all. As my most trusted soldier, you are to stand at my side. Let's do it. I know, Linerith, and I am sorry. The scaling is certainly better than it used to be, but low levels are just way too boosted, and for the sake of reviewing, we really do need to be doing it at higher level. So my thinking is the Locust Walker would either be Xavius or I guess Tyrande? That feels like a bad comparison. Maybe Illidan might be a better comparison point. Yeah, I will leave your cities in dust and your lives in ruin. This is a good guy. No, I'm sorry, Linerith. At least not at the moment. Like I said, if we have to put it off, then we'll put it off. I think we have 4 right now? Well, no, we lost Valerian. And we don't have Evo either. Crowley, your forces have fallen before my army. You have lost. Yeah, we have 4 right now. It's not over, Sylvanas. Not yet. You'll notice I don't have a voice actor here, which is actually a good thing for once. You frivolously throw away the lives of your people while your own king sits atop a throne of lies, nary lifting a finger to help. No, you don't have to X-block at 67, or 35. The only thing you have to do is not go above 67. Is Gilneas worth the lives that have been lost? The lives that will be lost? You cannot win. We will die trying. And your daughter? You could have saved her. You could have offered her your blood, yet you did not. Why? Lorna. What? Where is she? What have you done to her? Nothing. Yet. Oh, Fife is still here. Awesome. That's our 5th. I now present you a choice I was never given. I offer you the life of Lorna for your unconditional surrender. Choose your next words wisely. Deny me and she will serve me in undeath forever. Bring her, Godfrey. Godfrey, you deceitful maggot. Hello, old friend. Lorna, release her. Sound the retreat. Crowley, you miserable bastard. Release her, Godfrey. Of course, mistress. Now leave here, Crowley, and never return. Lordaeron belongs to the Forsaken. Forgive me, daughter. Soldiers of the Horde, we are victorious! What have you done, Godfrey? Something I should have been done a long time ago, you filthy animal. Gilneas belongs to me, and soon so will the rest of Lordaeron. Now join your mistress in death. I actually like the fact that we have to fight the guys who've basically been escorting us for the last several quests. I don't know, it's a nice touch. Fall back, brothers, to Shadowfang! Yeah, I know. This also means I can't help you in a second, Mr. Red. Fix her. Fix her! We are bound to her, sisters. It'll destroy us, sister. It is our sacred duty. The pact was sealed, the bargain made. And let it be done. I saw only darkness. As I drifted towards nothingness, a brilliant light appeared, and then another, and another. My dear Valkyr. I know now beyond a shadow of a doubt the Valkyr are our future. You mean your future?
What joy is there in this curse?
She grimaces in pain. This is not over. Godfrey and his traitorous allies will pay for what they've done, as will the remaining Alliance forces occupying Lordaeron. Our work has only begun.
We are the Forsaken. We will slaughter anyone who stands in our way.
This war has taken its toll on us as a people. We have lost much to secure our place as rightful rulers of Lordaeron. And though the moment is won, the battle continues to rage in other parts of the Eastern Kingdoms. I must return to the Undercity to recuperate. I want you to go to Hillsbrad in my stead. As my most trusted soldier, you will lead our forces to absolute domination against the enemies in Hillsbrad. I like to think that this whole sequence of events is when we actually stop being Forsaken loyalists. I mean, don't mistake me, we keep working for the Forsaken after this, but this was probably the first major crack of, okay, what? Well, there's Cure White Noise. Hi, Cure White Noise. Yeah. Alright, give me a second to process. Because as much as that's a neat little cutscene, it absolutely deserves at least one negative. Give me a sec. What for? So, Sylvanas Windrunner is not exactly a high-tier person, but she just gets shot in the back and dies like a punk in one hit. In other words, she gets cutscene killed. It's a very common problem in a lot of works. Especially in a setting like Warcraft, where HP is practically an in-lore concept. The idea of someone just getting shot and dying is kind of ridiculous. I remind you that in this very same game, later on, someone gets jabbed in the throat at point-blank range with a knife and survives that. Now, it's worth noting, it was a very grievous wound, as it should be. But he still survived the hit. Sylvanas just goes down like a punk. Like, she's not exactly high tier compared to some of the heavies in this setting, but she's better than that. Yeah, that's another thing. She's also a banshee on top of everything else. What? Oh yeah, it also takes 3 1-ups, Valkyr to res her. Yeah, no, that's a negative, I'm sorry. They wanted to have the big dramatic moment of showing to the players what she's been using the Valkyr for. So yeah, spoilers, or rather not anymore. The Valkyr are her 1-ups. That's their real benefit to Sylvanas. They are preventing her from going to the afterlife. This will be her character arc until, honestly, about BFA, I would say. So, it's also my personal favorite character arc for Sylvanas. It makes a weird amount of sense. Yeah, no, exactly, Jay Palmer. Follow the arc for me, will you? So she's like, I will defend my land no matter the cost. And then she dies. She goes to heaven. Everything's awesome. But then, she's brought back. And now she has to serve the person who's massacring her own people. That's horrific on every level. Then she's freed, thanks to what is effectively a fluke, and dedicates and devotes the rest of her own life to doing exactly 2 things. Getting revenge on Arthas, valid or otherwise, that's her goal. And then dying again. In other words, the only thing that kept her going the whole time was that revenge thing. Otherwise, she would have just committed suicide immediately as soon as she got her free will back. So, everything she's done, building up the Forsaken, getting the Blood Elves into the fold, making sure to arrange the alliance with the Alliance, which failed, and then the alliance with the Horde, which succeeded. All of that was just to have an army to charge north to get Arthas. Okay, I'm with that completely. We did that. And in the short story, the very first thing she does after that is dies. It literally, like minutes later, she goes and she commits suicide. Deal done. I'm ready to move on. Problem. She doesn't go to heaven. She goes to hell. They don't call them that, but that is effectively what happens. They never really properly explain why. We could debate that, and there's a lot of debate to be had about that, but the why doesn't matter. All that matters is she is then brought back by a Valkyr, who effectively swaps positions with her. I take your place in hell, you go back to life. And in this way, the Valkyr are free by binding themselves to her instead of the second Lich King. Okay. So now we see why the Valkyr are with her. This is answering Lord Harrimon's question from earlier. Sorry, it took me so long to get around to it. And now we see why she has... God damn it, Uther. And now we see why she has so much... No, it's a cutscene. Now we see why she has so much motivation to not die. And I know that sounds strange, considering that most people have a motivation to not die. But Sylvanas is actively terrified of death at this point because she's already died and she knows exactly how unpleasant it is. So she has personal experience of how much she does not want to go to hell. If this sounds familiar, then congratulations, you've played Planescape Torment. I'm with this motivation. Yeah, memes aside, the Maw is actually legit horrifying. It's one of the better showcasings of a hell that I've ever seen that Blizzard's ever done. It's really legitimately horrifying. No, Mr. Floyd Bickerton. Doesn't exist. There is no jailer. Remember, we're talking about Sylvanas as of Kata. And there really was no jailer back then. So, all of that is a perfectly understandable, reasonable, and legitimately interesting character arc. I don't know, Traxia. So, her motive, and everything she does around this point in time, is devoted towards the idea of building up this empire around her, to She wants more and more and more layers of defense between all of her enemies, of which she has quite a few, and her. It's the entire reason she's so invested in claiming Gilneas. It's the entire reason she's so invested in claiming Lordaeron and having this giant chunk of land devoted. Yeah, no, it's very Palpatine, actually. I want all this crap around me so I don't have to deal with any of that nonsense. I liked that character motivation. And it was the one time I really liked Sylvanas as a character. Not because she was understandable or relatable or good or empathetic, but because she was a very interesting form of evil. A form of selfishness perpetuated by an eternal fear. I found that engaging. Now, here's the funny part. From the perspective of a review, I absolutely can and will give positives to Sylvanas and her character here in Cata, where it's relevant. Yes, that means I will give negatives to the exact same thing in Shadowlands. And possibly BFA. We'll see when we get there. We'll debate that when we get there. Nice landing. No, unfortunately right now I have 6 people wanting to join. So I'm going to have to figure out who comes and who doesn't. Oh my god, that's cloth? It's wild. Leather's certainly very spiky. That's mail? Oh my god, I want that plate gear. That is so orky. That is so orky. Look at that. It's all good, Valerian. It's all good. I do understand. Although, hang on, I have to make the joke again. As you know, Valerian's just faking computer troubles to not have to join us. Okay. Hang on, so let me grab... I know Lunaruth hasn't joined us for a bit, so I'm going to grab her first. There she is. What spec are you bringing, Lunaruth? God, it's so hard to breathe. No, DPS is fine. I just wanted to check. Hello, Evo. You missed a whole thing. I'm fine, I just can't breathe through my nose. And I can't get enough air through my mouth. Something that should sound familiar because it was most of my life. It's not pleasant going back to it. Let me kick Mr. Red. Okay. Get your white noise. Let's get... hang on. No, I know. I'm debating who not to bring. Does anyone want to volunteer not to come? Let me ask that. To make this easier. Oh no, it's bugging me, Uthor. It's really getting to me. All right. Thank you, Mr. Red. I appreciate it. In that case, let's go ahead and grab Spartan, and then Fife. All right. So let's see here. We have Balance. Cure White Nose, I know, can heal. You don't actually have to be healed. In fact, this is a great time to test something. So let's do another test. So I'm going to make Cure White Noise the leader. I'm going to leave the party. I'm going to switch to my tank. No. I can't do that, can I? Let me check my characters. I'll figure something out. Because I really want to test something right now. I could do that. That's not a bad idea. No. I want a tank, and I want a tank on a horde. I know exactly what I'm going to get on. No, not you. The other one. No, not you. The other one. I've got too many druids. There we go. You. Everyone remember him? No? No, I don't blame you. Am I still experience locked? I am not. I need to be.
What now?
Thank you.
Beware the living.
Oh, they do great stuff, Uthor. Could I get an invite and then a summons, please? Perfect. Okay, I will request an invite. Oh, I can't request a group invite cross faction. Okay. Hang on. Hang on, let me double check something.
It's like meeting again for the first time. Who would have thought someone named Deathwing would bring about so much destruction? Is this hello or goodbye?
Actually, you know what? Everyone do me a favor. Leave group. Just leave group. Or that. Okay, so... Just stand here for a sec. Who are we missing? Who we lose? We lost someone. We lost Fife. No. I suggest inviting Fife. I can't do that cross fact. I can't suggest invite cross faction. Yeah, okay, never mind. Now I could use a summons, please. Okay. I accept that summons too. Let's see how this works, shall we? Is this 100% alliance except for me? That's funny.
I am forsaken.
Do you think a handful of Worgen vermin could stop me? Ha! Shadowfang Keep was part of the Lordaeron Kingdom in life, so it's quite fitting it should belong to the Forsaken in death. Godfrey and his accomplishments are minor obstacles at best. And of course we're all happy to take them out for the treachery against the Dark Lady. Ashbury has positioned himself near the front of the keep. Let's start on the right foot, shall we?
Victory for Sylvanas.
Alright, let's do it. Bear really quick. There it is. There it is. Okay, I found it. Oh, good. I'm taking damage. Oh, this is wonderful. I'm taking so much damage. How is that a soft spot for Shadowfang Keep, even though it's actually not that great of a dungeon? At least it wasn't back in vanilla. The best part is, it looks like that bug is fixed. Oh, maybe not. Hang on. No. Looks like that bug does still exist. His Cure White Noise is still pulling aggro off me effortlessly. Yeah. I was hopeful. God, I barely fit in this place. Look at how big I am. Yes, this is the Kata version of this dungeon. Sorry. Yeah, no. No, well, I mean... Yeah, okay, you should probably switch to bear. We've already... I can tell you immediately that the bug still exists. It very clearly still exists. That's a shame. I was actually looking forward to removing that bug negative. I will switch to... Arrow, I guess. Kira Whitenose, do you have any spec other than Resto set up? Sorry, you asked that earlier and I missed it. I apologize, Disco. In generic Fantasyland or real mythology, do you consider the undead and demons to be linked, or are they separate? Completely separate. I know that that's not the norm, per se, but I prefer it that way. Like, I get that, for example, in Vampire the Masquerade, I believe, being more vampire equals being more, you know, demonic, more the devil. And that's a common thing in a lot of things. And I don't care. Separate things. How are you playing the Kata version? What? Well, what I did is I walked into the dungeon. I'm curious what you mean by permanently removed. Do you mind clarifying? Yeah, Pandaria remade Scarlet Shalomance, and I think that's actually it. No, I know, Kira White knows, that's why I switched to Deeps. Whoever that is, I think that's 5? Nope, that is Bragwin. Nope, that's Lunaruth. God damn it. Oh yeah, and Ragefire. I forgot about Ragefire. I'm good, as long as whoever that is good. Boss time. I gotta play Feral now. Okay, I actually have a pretty decent idea here. Ooh, he's got some health. Okay. Oh no, our health! Our health! No! I have unspent points. Oh god. I have several unspent points. I'll fix that in a minute. I gotta do some kind of damage. I have no idea what I'm doing, apparently. Oh my god. They are completely separate as far as I'm concerned. Fae are their own category of never touch and leave alone completely. That's my bleed. What is that doing? Ah, okay. There we go.
Speak quickly.
Nicely done. They've gotten hold of powerful allies, but clearly nothing a druid champion of the Banshee Queen can't handle.
Trust no one.
The best part about the plague is that when it visually fades away, the remaining residue is still quite potent. However, we still have an enormous area to cover before we're done.
Our time will come. Beware.
It appears... Oh god, come on, hold still for a second.
Better be good.
Yeah. It appears the spirits that served Baron Silverlane and Commander Springvale in life now guard them in death. And Godfrey is using them to deter us. Show them the iron will of the Forsaken. Let's see, this lock should be easy enough to pick. There we go. Yeah, we actually did Vanilla Scarlet earlier today. Thanks to Mr. Red again for that. Alright. have my bars wrong. No wonder things are weird. There we go. That's better. That's better. No, I did it on camera, even. Pretty much started today's second shift with it. I should double check my phone. Okay, I didn't miss anything. Good. Ah. That's what I want. Sorry. Will I review the MOP versions of Cata Dungeons for the MOP review? What do you mean? I'm sorry, I really don't understand what you're referencing here. What MOP version? What Pandaria version of a Cata Dungeon even exists? Like, granted, my knowledge is not perfect, but I know of no such thing. Oh, okay. Hang on. I think I know what you mean. I think I actually do understand. Okay, so will I review Scarlet Monastery for Pandaria? Yes. In fact, I already have. Now you're probably thinking, what? But you're in Cata. Yeah, but I can review it now. And just put it into the books for later for Cata. Or for Pandaria, excuse me. Which I did. I'll be doing the same thing with Sylvanas. And I think that's it. We've technically already done that with Black Fathom Depths as well, which is a Warlord's dungeon, of all things. This is interesting. I'm actually legitimately happy that we're dying here. This is great. Some buttons. Pop some buttons. Hit some other buttons. Pop some other buttons. Continue popping buttons. This asshole. Stop casting, please. Thank you. Remember that that button even exists. No, it really is, Uthor. It's great. I'm really happy they fixed the scaling. I really am. That was just kind of hurtful, you know? Okay. Yeah, don't pull the whole banquet hall. I don't think we did. No, we did. Never mind. We did. We pulled the whole thing. So where is your hearth? Exactly. Stormwind Gate. I need one person to come out with me, please. What's funny is it took me until you weren't here to process that the spell you just cast was Astral Recall. I even saw that you were casting Astral Recall, I just didn't think about it. Alright. See if you can click this around my big bare butt. Okay, take two. It's so cloistered. Look at this. I have to zoom the camera in. At least till we got it here. Whee! Who needs camera? Okay, so as we were, jot down some notes over here. No, like that's exactly what happened, Huthor. My brain just kind of blanked on that for a second. Like, yep, the shaman is casting Astral Recall. We're good. When you're ready. Oh, I don't have permission to start a pull timer. Damn it. I don't even remember what this guy does. I've done all this stuff hard mode, too. This is another achievement chain I got back when it was, you know, hard to do. I'm quite proud of, if I might be so bold. Remember your buttons, lore. Remember your buttons. Oh yeah, he calls in the other bosses, that's right. Yep, Odo was inside the Spirit Link, everyone, in case you missed that. Excellent. Now to plague this area and move on to... Chromash, what are you doing here? This is a covert operation. Unless I am mistaken, the War Chief explicitly forbids using the full plague, no matter the circumstance. My apologies, but I assure you there's no problem. We're using an extremely dilute plague. In fact, it only really serves to scare off the Worgen from trying to follow us in here. It's completely harmless. Then I'm sure you won't mind if I accompany you on your mission. Be warned, Belmont, as I found out that you are lying. You'll see the War Chief's wrath firsthand. Of course. We have the Horde's best interest in mind, sir. These heroes were just about to continue on and kill Springvale for us. It's a DS9 reference, Jay Palmer. Probably extremely unintentional. But very funny, regardless. You remember when you couldn't bleed undead? Well, some undead. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Oh, was it mechanisms? My bad, my bad. What was I thinking of? Oh, you know what? I'm mixing that up in my head. I'm thinking of when undead used to be vulnerable to holy damage. including players. They got rid of that pretty quick. Yeah, I remember the elements being immune to their element thing. That was an issue in Molten Core for a bit there. Alright, I'm a fire mage. Alright, get out of the raid. What? Why? Well. I don't remember how long some of this stuff even lasted, too. I was in a bad part of my life when WoW came out. So, some of that blurs a little bit, you know. I remember when enemies didn't pulse aggro. Whoa, whoa, whoa. When enemies didn't pulse aggro the entire instance. Which may sound like an irrelevant change, but I was actually a proponent of a strategy we used in order to try and use that to our advantage. You see, I was a paladin. And there's one thing that I hated about vanilla raiding was that all I had to do was constantly buff people. It was extraordinarily boring. So I came up with this whole strategy, and I know, I'm assuredly not the only person who came up with this, where I would just sit way out of range of the rest of the fight, because Rez had a pretty good range. And I would just sit back there and res people as they died in the middle of the fight.
What is it?
Can I turn in? No? That's weird. Of course, someone's going to have to take care of the small army between here and Godfrey.
Hello.
Kramash has both a thick skull and a fool's brain, and we'll use that to our advantage. By the time anybody finds out the plague's true potency, it'll be too late. Thank you for keeping quiet during his tirade. I promise you won't regret it.
Remember.
Unsurprisingly, we aren't going to listen to Kramash about the plague. However, his brute strength will come in handy for muscling my men through the many foes up ahead. Godfrey, the most powerful being with his right-hand man, Lord Walden. Okay, whatever. I'll meet you in Walden's chamber after you finish him off. Then at long last we can completely take Shadowfang Keep for the Forsaken.
Dark Lady, watch over
You know, that's a good point, J. Palmer. We are just mute psychopaths in this game, aren't we? We have the unique capacity to have no blood in our body. G-forces? What are those? Melee mage. No, you're thinking of Warlock. Why do we have two healers? Oh, because Kira White Noise never went to Ella. Okay. Hey, Kira White Noise, do you have Ella set up, maybe? Oh no, gargoyles! Nice amount of the terrain rendered out there. Ah! Oh yeah. I remember when wands would get benefits from, like, damage types. I don't even know when that stopped being a thing. Ah! There they are, the bowels and brains. My pride and joy. I think you're right, actually, Lord. Ah, Vasidius. Or Vicidus, excuse me. I'm going to keep calling him Vicidius. Ah, Vicidius. It was a very interesting idea. Definitely old school Blizzard raid design. Bring classes that can do frost damage or else go home. I'm double check, but I'm pretty sure there's no second eye. Yep, Vicidus, right there. Yep, you bring Frost Shock, Frost Mages, and the Frost Enchant. I mean, you'll find out once you get there, Evo. I'd say about 5 minutes. Yeah, it's probably supposed to be Viscidus. Because, you know, duh. Look, if there's one thing that Vanilla was really good at, it was wasting your time. He's murdering my face. As it should be. My face deserves total murder. There it is. Overload. There, let's fix that. Yeah, we're actually taking a decent chunk of damage. It's nice. Yeah, knowledge was a knowledge. Knowledge was a knowledge. God damn it, Laura. Vanilla was a knowledge check. It's one of the reasons why most raid groups would jealously not share any of the information they gained during boss fights. You know, because you'd get scouting attempts, right? You weren't really intended to actually do anything. You're just scouting ahead to see how a fight works. Yeah, trade secrets, exactly. It was really common. If that sounds familiar, then congrats. You actually probably raided back in the Bronze Era. Better hurry up if you want in on the fun.
I'm listening.
If all goes well, you'll be able to walk into Godfrey's personal domain and take a reward for fitting for such an eager young druid. Godfrey's a cunning foe, though, so it may be wise to head up there quickly just in case you're needed.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that's true, J. Palmer. The golden era of MMOs was started by WoW, but ironically didn't actually get started during WoW's tenure. Or rather, when WoW launched, I should say more accurately. The golden era was kind of a shift from silver to gold. Unlike bronze, which is very clearly defined. Bronze was like chunk into silver, but silver kind of sashayed into gold. Really? Oh, I keep hitting the wrong button. No wonder. I don't even have it. Yeah, looks like I know. Meh. Whatever, we'll do this. Yeah, nowadays Blizzard is pretty big on info in game. Whether it's good or bad, that's up to you. The coward killed them, poisoned me. Okay. Last boss. Sylvanas sent you, didn't she? No matter. Your journey, too, ends in agony. Did you know that I'm evil? In case you didn't catch that earlier. It's true. Evil is, in fact, my middle name. So wait, your first name is evil. His last name is evil. Or middle name, sorry. Ta-da! I thank you for the clean death. I would not have done the same.
I am forsaken.
For a moment there, I thought it was all lost. Even when surrounded by Worgen and the Gilneas, I had higher hopes. But you proved me wrong. I'll see to it Sylvanas herself hears of your triumph today. Don't worry about the mess. I'll see to it myself.
Trust no one.
I'm curious how much they're going to pull back on weak auras. Because I don't even use weak auras. Final report to King Varian. Lord Godfrey eliminated. Horde allowed to storm the keep. We can blame them for it all. Forsaken have 2 racial abilities. 3, technically. One is Infinite Breath. That's your third one. 1 is they gain Will of the Forsaken, which breaks Charm, Fear, and Sleep, I want to say. And 2 is Cannibalize, which eats certain types of corpses to heal. It's a channel with a cooldown, and you have to do it out of combat, but eh. Oh yeah, right, we can do this. There actually is a shortcut in Shadowfang Keep. No, I know Uthor. I actually have a feeling, fingers crossed, you know, don't want to curl the monkey's paw here, that whatever they do to weak auras will not actually affect, you know, the other 99% of us that play this game. Like I said, I literally don't even use weak auras. I have it installed, but it's turned off in all my characters. And I have DBM on, but that's mostly just for callouts. Well, half the time it's not even really helpful. Thank you all for joining us for that. SFK was really good. No, add-ons are good. This is not FF14, okay? Let's not go down that road. I swear to God. Negative to FF14. No add-ons. Ignore the fact that I use add-ons at FF14. I have some catch-up paperwork to do. But I think we will go ahead and cut off for today, because it's already getting pretty late. And like I said, I have some catch-up paperwork to do. Tomorrow, we will go ahead and hit up Hillsbrad, and hopefully also get into the Plague Lands. So, I'll see you there. And for those of you I won't see there, happy holidays.